Thank you for your attention and your interest and your patriotic spirit. Thank you to the veterans on this Veterans Day. And I'll see you 3 o'clock Monday afternoon. Mr. Kane's got the deal coming up here for the next 3 hours. Keep chatting and keep your faith in America.
Kane and Company is adult in nature and is not suitable for all audiences. The content of this program is one that a truly free society would not attempt to censure or suppress.
Peekaboo you, it's me on the radio until 4 o'clock today.
Every night when I go to sleep, I just
I want to say hello you to all police and fire personnel, civil servants, healthcare employees, and my little buddy Chris. Yes, together. We will. I can't decide what I want to talk about today.
The bandit of my dreams.
Gee, I mean, I wanted to talk about your favorite flowers, like for the spring, and maybe something you'll be planting next year. And then I thought maybe we'd talk about movie stars and your favorite movies. I thought, well, no, maybe I can, Then I saw something about an election or some kind of problem in Florida. I wasn't sure what it was, and maybe you can fill me in. 437-0630, 1-800-321-9776, star 630, and your cellular one. You and me on the radio until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Of course, we're going to talk about the history being made here in our country with one of the toughest and tightest elections for president ever in the history of our country. And so we're going to see what we can do, and I got people lined up already on the phone, so let's not waste any time. Rob is in Greenville on WPRO. Hi, Rob. Hello? Hello once, hello twice. Oh, hold on a minute. Here we go. Here's Rob. Hi, Rob.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, sir. Shut your radio off, please.
Yes, I got you.
Okay,
I want to voice my opinion. Our country's a great country, and we always put our nose in other people's business, like other countries who are holding elections. We go there and we try to, defend their constitutions if they have any. But here's a country here that's, the most modern-day country in the world, and we're worried about Florida's ballots, which is outrageous. And if they do have a recall on this, it will uproot our country.
It's not going to be a recall.
Well,
what are you
not a recall,
talking
but
about?
a re-vote on it. It's ridiculous.
Well, so what? Why not? Don't you want an accurate... Wait a minute, Rob, calm down a minute. First of all, don't you want to really know who won, yes or no?
Put it this way.
Or do you only want Bush to win?
If Florida votes, the whole country should re-vote, because it would be an unfair
You're not answering
vote.
my question. You're not. First of all, nobody's talking about re-voting. They're talking about counting. Nobody's talked about re-voting it.
If they want to recount, that's fine.
So my question to you is, do you or do you not want an accurate vote? Yes or no?
Of course they do.
Okay, good. So there you go.
Most definitely.
Okay, so there you go. Thanks a lot, Rob. Appreciate it. I guess 437-0630. George is in Pawtucket on WPRO. Hi, George.
Yeah, hi. On those ballots.
Could you speak up for me, George? I can barely hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. On those that situation in Florida, the people went in and they punched the wrong holes. My question is, when you go into a motor vehicle place or you go in for an application, if you see something that bothers you or that you don't understand, you go and you ask, what the problem
all right,
is.
so fine. Okay, so they go and ask. So they didn't go ask, fine, or they got confused. They may not have known until they got home that they may have made this mistake.
Yeah, but then again, how do you know you made the mistake?
I just said may have made this mistake.
Right.
And people are already saying that obviously this ballot has been confusing to many people. And my question to you is, do you want an honest election, yes or no?
Well, yeah, but here's the point. There's a guy
if you thought that you were going to vote for Bush, as an example, and you accidentally voted for Gore, and you realize that, and you realize that a contributory factor may be the way the ballot was set up, would you want to just go ahead and give your vote to Gore?
Yeah, but here's the point.
No, you're not answering my question. Yes or no?
Well, I would naturally want an honest count.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't you also want, if you thought you'd been screwed out of your vote, if you thought that because of the setup of the ballot, that you were confused and voted for someone you would never have voted for in a million years, if that were the case, wouldn't you be upset?
Yes, but you've got a point there when you say may have.
Well, of course it's may have, and that's the point of this.
How many may haves are going to come in?
We're going to find out. That's the point of all of this, sir. That's the point of this. We're going to find out.
But the other question is, there's another fellow that called earlier that made a very good point. What happens when you go in and there's a revote with Nader's name that was on the ballot? Right.
Well, they're not talking about revote yet. We're talking about finding out whether the ballots that have already been cast were correct.
Yeah, but
now
what
they've
if
got
there is
2,000 ballots in New Mexico that have disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, this is an election for a president, sir. I don't have a dog in this fight. Doesn't matter to me who wins. What does matter to me is that voters are not be disenfranchised or not be cajoled or jumped around by anybody. I mean, Mr. Baker was just on, talking about using the word mischief, right? Now, even not just allowing for human error or a stupid design of a ballot or somebody whose eyes are not as good or didn't quite grasp the concept. All of those things go into you and me, not getting a fair election and a proper election.
Well, he has a problem. I mean, he has a point there, though.
What point is that?
The way these ballots are set up with these holes or these little things, human error could set in there on manual voting.
No, no, that's not true, because you see the trouble here with his premise about human error is that you've got everybody from every single camp, including observers. If anything's going to be trustworthy, it's going to be a human count.
Yeah, but they're not looking over everybody's shoulder.
Oh, yes, they are. Yes, that's exactly how they do it, sir.
Well, I don't think they have a person standing over.
I'm telling you, they do, sir. They do it publicly in front of everybody. They do 5 votes at a time. They've got a panel of 3 people, and they've got representatives from all of the concerned parties and observers.
So you're saying that they have a person standing over everybody's shoulder? They stand
right there, yes, sir, and they watch it, absolutely.
Every person that's there counting votes?
Yes, sir, that's exactly what they do. That's exactly how it's done.
Yeah, I can't believe that.
Well, I'm sorry you're uninformed, but that's the way it's done.
I'm sorry, that means that there are the thousands of people that are counting votes, that you're saying somebody's standing over there.
First of all, there are not thousands of people counting votes. Number one, there are a selection of people, and they are done in shifts, and they do 5 votes at a time as part of the hand counting, and they all stop to make sure they're all on the same page. There are public observers, people who were just watching what's happening. So I'm sorry, sir, you can't make that case about a hand count.
Well, how about a simple solution to the whole thing, where we just flip a coin?
That would be fine if this were, a football game. It isn't, sir. This is
now if Janet
the head of the free world,
sir. Janet Reno gets involved.
And Janet Reno has not gotten involved at all. And if Janet Reno gets involved, it'll be the Bush's camp's fault, because they are the one bringing suit in the federal court.
You're pro-Gore, aren't you?
I'm not pro anybody. I am talking about what's happened here, sir. Just because I don't agree with you on the
Well, you sound like you're Gore, right?
What do you mean? You how can you say that? I'm talking about the validity of the election process.
Janet Reno gets
you don't
involved,
know.
You know which way it's going to go.
You don't know, sir. You don't know anything about the recount, because I just had to inform you.
Well, I don't know who's standing over anybody's
shoulder. Well, I'm sorry you
yet.
don't know that, sir, but you should before you call up and start telling me I'm in favor of somebody. Maybe you should get your act together.
Well, I'll try. But,
Thank you. All right, give me your last word, sir.
No, but the point is, I'm saying if Janet Reno gets involved,
yeah, I know you said that, sir.
There's going to be a problem.
But you said that, sir, and there's no
And so I'm
indication
saying watch
that she's
for that,
going to.
because I have a feeling that's going to happen.
So you'd rather let's just let Bush have it, right?
No, I'm saying look, I'm saying with this recounting over and over and over again, I mean, let's wait till the overseas votes are in, and then let's just go with all those votes that were thrown out. Mary Matlin called the officials down in Florida, and she said those votes that were thrown out weren't actually thrown out. They were just discarded. People asked for the double vote, asked for another form, and filled them out again. So they're not any.
And Mary Matlin, of course, was down there. She knows what she's talking about, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, of course she does. Sure. Oh, well, that's it then. She must know more.
Well, she called. And
that's it. That's it. And Mary Matlin says that's it. The hell with it. Stop the presses. Hold it. Mary called.
Well, that's what the official said down there.
Okay, buddy. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Where am I? 437-0630. Is this America? I hope so. Good heavens. All righty. George is in Johnson on WPRO. Hi, George. Southern Rhode Island. George. George once.
Hello.
Oh, excuse me. That's not George. Hang on a minute. Here's George. Hi, George.
Yeah, I'm George in Southern Rhode Island.
Go ahead.
Okay. I worked as a warden at one of the polls in a Southern Rhode Island town, and I'd like to comment on either the election law or the way it was interpreted. In 3 cases, I felt either the law is wrong or the interpretation was wrong.
Mm-hmm. Are you an attorney?
No,
Okay.
but I was charged with, with monitoring what went on in my polling place.
Okay.
And in 3 instances, people were allowed to vote that I don't believe should have been. Because my boss, who was the canvassing clerk for the town, made the decision.
Sir, I excuse me. I don't mean to. I want to stick to this issue. I mean, I'm not interested in getting into a lot of other stuff. Can we get to your point about Florida?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
If they had our system, there wouldn't be a problem.
Okay, and how is our system different?
The ballots kick out immediately if there's a mistake. I had 15 of them, and the people saw it kick out, and they were able to vote right there. I gave them a new ballot.
Okay, good idea. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. 437-0630, telephone number to call. Let me see. Let me try this now. All right, now here we go. Now here's John in Newport on WPRO. Hi, John.
Hey, how you doing?
Yes, sir.
I think it's a big coincidence that in Palm Beach County, which probably has the largest Jewish vote in the country, because they're all going to vote for Lieberman, I would assume, has the most confusing ballot in the country, and all these ballots get double punched and then tossed out. And they say the person who designed the ballot is a Democrat. How do we know he or she isn't really a Republican working for the Bush political machine, which is really the Reagan political machine?
How did you feel on the Kennedy assassination? Did you feel that was a conspiracy too?
Well,
yeah,
it looks that way.
Yeah. All right, sir. I mean, what can I tell you? We're talking here about trying to find a way to just have a real election for president. And all of these things that people are throwing out now are silly. Let's just start over, period. Let's
how
just
do we
check
start
everything.
over?
Start over. Do it again.
I think that the manual count is the smartest thing they've come up with.
That's absolutely. I would go along with that. I would go there in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
Yeah, because, as you said, it's all being triple checked. You have these little pieces of paper hanging out of a hole that someone can make an opinion on, which...
Now, let me ask you this question. Why would you think that Mr. Baker would be against a hand count?
Because I think that he's coming out right now because the hand count's going to go against him. I think they're trying to...
I think they're afraid.
I think so, too.
I do, too.
Because, or else he just... Go ahead, hand counter. That's the most accurate.
One of the problems we have in this country is that we have a fast food mentality. We want this election over. Hurry up, just get it over. Just say you lose. That's it. You know what I mean? Because we go to drive-through restaurants, right? We got speed dial. We can't wait and learn and do this the right way. I don't get it.
What's interesting is Baker isn't waiting. Well, I guess he is waiting for the military vote to come over, but he also has to wait for the vote to come back from Israel for American citizens over there.
All right. I thank you for your call, sir.
Sure.
Bye-bye now. Ethel is in, where the hell are you? Hi, Cranston. Hi, honey.
Yeah, hi, Dave. Dave, regarding the Buchanan vote, where it went to Buchanan instead of Gore, I heard him twice on TV saying they did not belong to me, they belong to Gore.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so they've been I've been watching this since the 7th of November, day and night. I listen to every consultant, every analyst, everything. And they show the ballot and everything. And where the holes are punched, they did say when they put it through the machine, they flap or they do change, because when you insert it.
All right, but let's back up from this thing, because all I want to know is, are you in favor of a hand count?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
That's where we got to go with
If I spend millions of dollars, Dave, I want every process possible to be done.
All right, honey. Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
All right, Bob's on a cell phone. Bob's on a cell phone on WPRO. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Yes, sir.
Good. First of all, I didn't vote for either one of these two clowns. But I don't think this should go to court. However, I strongly believe that they have to pursue every avenue available to make sure that the count is accurate.
I think both sides do. I think both sides need to make sure. You and I deserve a real count.
That's right.
You and I deserve to know who won.
That's right. Here's what I don't understand. I heard that the Democrats sent a whole bevy of lawyers down there to Florida, and George Bush sent O.J. Simpson.
All right. Goodbye now. See you later. 437-0630. Everybody's a wise guy. Everybody's a wise guy. All right. Let me see where I'm at here. Cece is on the cell phone on WPRO. Hi, Cece.
Hi there. Thanks for taking my call.
Well, thanks for making it.
I just wanted to say that I voted for Gore, and I wish right now that he would concede.
Why?
Step down right now.
Wait, Cece, why?
I believe I would give him my undying respect.
Who cares about your respect? Who cares about your respect? What value does your respect have? This is for the presidency of the United States.
And it looks.
Who cares what it looks like?
With one count and a recount.
Who cares? Who cares? Who cares?
I care. The American people.
Wouldn't you rather? Don't you want the president to be elected by the people?
To be elected.
No.
To be elected, and
whoever it is.
For him. But at this point, I think that he should do the right thing and step
That
down.
isn't the right thing. That's a hideously stupid thing to do when you're talking about 300 votes. That's not the right thing. That's a disservice to America. To say, okay, well, it looks like maybe, so I'm going to step down. That's ridiculous. That's so hideously stupid.
No, I disagree.
Well, I know you do. I know you do.
For one thing, you know what he's doing right now? He's playing, yesterday he was playing touch football with his family instead of assembling a cabinet. Is that a presidential way to play?
Excuse me. He's waiting.
For him.
He's waiting. I don't believe you. I don't believe you did. I think you're making it up. I don't believe you did. I don't believe you voted for him. I don't believe it. I do not believe it. No, I do not believe it.
Supreme Court issue,
I do not believe that you voted for Gore at all.
Gore, I give you my vow, my solemn vow, based on the Supreme Court.
You got any children?
Issue. I have a baby. I have a baby in the backseat of my car right now.
Swear to me on your baby's heart right now.
I swear to you on my baby's soul.
But here, listen, Cece, listen to this.
Yep.
1 minute, okay? This thing about what it looks like, this thing about sour grapes, none of this is important.
One count, two count.
Excuse me.
One count, two count.
But both of the counts are questionable.
By a small margin. No, by a small margin.
They are questionable.
They're not questionable. They are, number one, he lost for the first count. Number two, he lost for the second count. It's about numbers. It's not questionable. It's numbers. It's one by numbers.
Oh, no, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Well, definitely.
I will tell you that I think he will have done a horrible disservice to this country if he doesn't make sure, and Bush as well, make sure that this thing goes so that there can be no doubt who won this election. That's what I want to happen. I want both of these guys to make sure, and you and me to make sure that the person that walks into the White House on January 20th really earned it. That's what I want.
And you know what? I believe that there will be an opportunity for him to someday come back. If he can now, he can come back and run again.
Yeah.
And he'll
it's
get
silly.
my vote again.
No, well, I'm sorry. There's no doubt in my mind he would, but it's got nothing to do with reality. The point is, this man doesn't know yet if he lost this election.
Well, you know what? I think that deep in his heart he did, and that's why he was playing touch football.
Is that why? Is that really? Is that why Mr. Bush? Is that why Mr. Bush brought suit? Because he deep in his heart thinks he won? Is that why Mr. Bush has brought suit?
Well, I believe that he felt like he had to.
Well, wait a minute now. If he thought that he really won, he would be just finishing with his cabinet.
I know. Perhaps, you know what? Perhaps he should step down right now, too, and we should just go for the third.
Do me a favor, would you please?
Yeah.
Kiss the baby for me.
I will. Thanks.
All right, thanks
for taking my call.
Bye-bye. Walter, 437-0630. He was on, I think he was on 4. 437-0630. 1-800-321-9776. Star 630 on your cellular one. All righty, let me see here. Let me go to Ray. Ray is on a cell phone. Hi, Ray.
Yeah, how you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Love the show so far.
Thank you.
Let me just touch on one point before we get into the issue.
Okay.
I just want to make a statement. I really do wish the networks would cut the predicting winners. I mean, I admire it sometimes. But
I agree. I think there's no point to it. This is just one-upsmanship on each other, and it flies in the face of something very serious. And I agree.
That's true. I think it really. I just want to know who won. All right, they can predict and they can do the polls, but I think sometimes for the people that haven't voted yet or people that are maybe listening, maybe it does affect them. Maybe they don't want to get up and go anymore. But I would prefer in the future, and I don't know if there's anything that can be done about that. I'd love to get my voice heard on that, but they should just wait for the winner to be announced, and it'd be a little easier to take.
I agree. Now, what else did you want to say?
All right, as far as what's going on in Florida, I will admit I voted for Gore, but I will
don't say it like that.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying
it's not a crime against humanity.
I don't want anybody to think this is sour grapes.
Yeah.
I just think the way it's being handled right now, especially by Mr. Baker, I think I agree with you. I think they're afraid of what might come out if this thing is legitimately handled. I want the right guy to win. Whoever got who wins, wins.
Because that's what we are entitled to.
That's right.
We are entitled to have, and someone like yourself and other people are entitled to have the president they didn't vote for because that's the way it went.
That's true.
And people have to understand, that's what, this is Veterans Day. And thousands and thousands and thousands of men and women gave their lives so that you and I can have an honest election.
Absolutely. You hit that right on the head.
And for us to play this, he should step down and he should not vote and he should not sue and he should not jump in the air and spit, this is baloney. This is America. This is Veterans Day. And if anything is going to salute veterans, is going to make sure that this election is real. And that we find out that there was no shenanigans, that it may have been human error, but when it's all over, I want to know who won and who didn't.
That's true, and that's what it's all about. I agree 100%.
All right.
The only one thing I'd like to say before closing, the only thing I fear is because of what you can see going on in the press right now, what's going on in the news. No matter what comes out of this thing, there's going to be some crap flying around about no matter who wins, this wasn't done right. His brother's in Florida. This one was...
All right.
You know that's going to happen.
All right. Thanks, Ray.
All right,
I
take
appreciate
care.
it. Bye-bye now.
Kane and Company.
WPRO.
Hey, we want to welcome a brand new sponsor here to Kane and Company, Crognoli's Bakery. Listen to this now. Crognoli Bakery, you know the name Crognoli, don't you? Sure, of course you do. They've been in business in Rhode Island since 1917. Imagine that. And boy, they've got terrific food. I'm talking about calzones. I mean, are they full? Oh, my heavens. They have the fullest and best price calzones in the state. Not only that, they've got hand-cut Italian bread with all natural ingredients, of course. I can smell the bread. And Rhode Island Monthly has, dubbed Crognoli having the very best pizza strips in Rhode Island. The pizza strips, they're great. You see them all the time. Matter of fact, maybe I can grab a few and sneak some in tomorrow. Rick will like that. Crognoli Bakery, they have 5 locations. They have Newark Street at the corner of Valley in Providence, Reservoir Avenue in Cranston, Newman Avenue in East Providence, Charles Street in Providence, and Douglas Avenue in Providence. You've got to see and smell and taste Crognoli's Bakery. Easy to find, easy to do business with. You're going to love Joe Maga. Joe Maga's the owner now. Now, he's owned the place since 1976. 25 years he's going to be celebrating as the owner. And a place that's been in business since 1917 and owned by the current owner since 1976. They got to be doing something right. Crognoli's Bakery. Easy to find. Newark Street, Reservoir Avenue, Newman Avenue, East Providence, Charles Street, Providence, Douglas Avenue, Providence, and of course, as I said, that Newark Street is at the corner of Newark and Valley. Crognoli's Bakery. Give Joe a call. Tell him I told you to call, and tomorrow we're going to see if I can scoff some pizza from these guys. All righty? Already. Crognoli, I can smell it now. 437-0630, 1-800-321-WPRO. And Mark awaits on the phone on WPRO. Hi, Mark.
Hi, how you doing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just had a comment. I don't know if I'm being overly stupid or simplistic about this. I personally voted for Mr. Nader.
Yeah.
And so I really have no preference as to who wins. But if they have to wait until Friday for the military ballots, the overseas ballots anyway, why don't they just hand count the entire state while they're waiting? And I mean, that might benefit Mr. Bush in the Republican counties. It might benefit Mr. Gore in the Democratic counties. But I mean, they can't do anything until Friday anyway. Am I right?
Well, I believe it's not going to be done until they count the absentees. That's right, or the mail-ins. That's right.
So I mean, if they have to wait until then anyway, it would seem to be to everybody's advantage to get a true picture. Again,
what I'm hearing is that people really don't want. Mark, they really don't want a recount because they're afraid of the results.
Why would anybody be afraid of a hand count?
If you think you're going to lose.
Well, I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. If Mr. Gore wants a hand count in his counties, Mr. Bush should get a hand count in his counties.
Yeah, I don't think they should just be the Democratic strongholds. I think that's it's fair to say that it looks like that would make it, more potential that he's going to gain some votes. I think you're right. I think if they're going to do it, they ought to do it across the state. Start over.
And to what you said earlier, I personally have witnessed a hand count, and what you say is correct.
Of course.
They have one person from each party there, so...
Yeah, but more than that, they've got other people, other interested parties, Nader people who just want to see how the system goes.
That's true.
Et cetera. Sure. All right, thanks a lot.
Hey, thank you.
Bye-bye now. All right, Louis is on the cell phone. Hi, Louis. Louis. Hello once.
Hello?
Yeah, who's this?
This is Mike on a cell phone.
Oh, Mike, I'm sorry, wrong line. Go ahead.
A problem I have is when I hear stupidity, I have to leap on it. That lady who called and said that Patrick Buchanan said that, of course he said that. This gives him a platform. This gives him a platform that if...
Yeah, but it's also... Yeah, but Louis, wait a minute, Mike.
If Gore wins, this gives Patrick Buchanan a platform.
Well, but Mike, let me tell you something.
Was there a problem?
The reality is, Mike...
What?
The reality is that that section of Florida would not have voted heavily for Buchanan. All he's stating is the truth. Now, why is that so upsetting to you?
Why it's upsetting to me is just because Patrick Buchanan says it. If I voted for Jesus Christ, I voted for Jesus Christ.
But he
Why
knows
do people
his...
say,
Mike, he knows where his stronghold is, and he knows... All politicians know where they expect to get votes and where they don't expect to get votes. So all he is saying is that by his experience, he doesn't believe that the votes that went to him, the number of votes that went to him, were legitimate. And he's saying it because of history. There are a lot of Jewish people in that area. He is at least a borderline anti-Semite. They're not going to vote for Buchanan.
Well, what I'm getting at is there's X number of votes where people didn't vote for president. Am I correct?
I don't know. Get to it, Mike. What's your
point?
point?
I'm getting at is some people, they just don't want to vote for president. If some people, those 19,000 people...
But it wouldn't have gone to Buchanan. Mike, it wouldn't have gone to Buchanan then. It wouldn't have been any vote. No, you time out. It wouldn't have gone to Buchanan. Stick to your issue. You talked about Buchanan.
So what about if there was one person who voted for Buchanan? How can the Gore people say that that's their vote?
That's not what he said.
If one person in Palm Beach wanted to vote for Patrick Buchanan, that's his vote.
That's not what he said, Mike. What he said was that the number of people who voted for him were inaccurate because he knows, this is Buchanan speaking, he knows that he would not have voted. Okay, Mike, got a last word?
No, that's not a last word.
Oh, yes,
I want
it
to
is.
say, the other 19,000 people that double punched, this comes down to the total theme of the 2000 election. Bush ran on self-responsibility, and on self-responsibility, you take responsibility for your mistakes.
All right,
if they
Mike.
made a mistake, they made a mistake.
Thanks. All right. See you later. Louis is on WPRO.
Hi, good afternoon, Dave.
Hi, Louis. How are you?
Good. That was a tough call. A couple of things I just wanted to say. First of all, to answer your original question, which I think was, should there be a recount in that area of Florida?
Hand count, yeah.
Hand count. I agree. And I am a Bush supporter.
Okay.
And I agree. I'm a registered Republican in Rhode Island, one of the rarities. And I agree that there should be a hand count in that area. But
I think it's going to be important for both parties. Other than that, I mean, try to govern when somebody thinks that the election was stolen from them.
That's right. It'd be impossible.
Oh.
Especially when the Senate is going to be pretty much 50-50 and Congress would be maybe like 2 or 3 or 4 Republicans.
Yeah.
But I also want to take it one step further. I think instead of Jim Baker and his political cohorts going to the courts, really what they should look is at New Mexico, they should look at Iowa, they should look at Wisconsin, and they should look at Oregon. Those are razor votes. And like going with the theme of your show today, it's true. I think we're focusing so much on Florida, focusing on a county, but we should also look at more of a national level. There's 4 other states. I was reading on page A9 of the Providence Journal this morning. In New Mexico, there's 119 votes separating them. In Oregon, there's still about 40,000 votes to be counted, and it's only 6,000 vote difference. Iowa is like 5,000 votes still outstanding, and Wisconsin, I think Gore only won by 4,000. So if you're going to focus, you got to focus on looking at those other 4 states and try to get, a real.
Yeah, all I want is a real count. I don't care who it is. I don't care. I want a real count. And as I said earlier, this is Veterans Day, man. And for us to be playing this game like this, when people are in the ground fighting so that we would have fair, clean, neat, and honest elections, this is a travesty.
It is a travesty. And I might think my last word is I just wonder, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but I just wonder, and I know you're part of the media, but I just wonder if the media is focusing more on Florida and not the other 4 states that are razor close because of the debacle and the buffoons they look like on election night, calling it.
Well, I think, well, that's part of it, certainly. But I think part of it also is that because of the number of electoral votes. In other words, this would cinch it for either of them, and I think that's why it's such a big deal.
If the other 4 states, if 3 of the other 4 states do go to Bush in that razor close election, you can bag.
Okay,
bag it.
I got to hold you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Samuel is in Kingston. Samuel.
Yes.
You're on WPRO.
This is Samuel, and I'm a little confused by your attitude. Didn't they have one count of the election?
Yes.
And then didn't they have a recount of the election?
And the result was different.
Are we going to keep voting?
Yes. We're going to check until we can be sure it was an honest accounting.
Okay, when are you going to be sure?
Well, let's go the hand count.
How do you know the hand count?
Because these bodies are going to be right there, sir.
See, you don't understand computers and things.
No, I
When
don't.
things are
I don't understand computers and things,
at
sir.
least to my...
Sir, I don't understand computers and things.
You don't.
I don't even think you know how to run a computer, sir.
Well, then I can't talk to anyone that would...
Okay, thank you very much. 437-0630. I love it when they call up, you don't know. You don't understand. Thanks for your help. Mike is on WPRO. Hi, Mike.
How are you?
Yes, sir.
I wanted to make a comment about the hand counting, and then I want to give you a very funny story that happened to me last night in relevance to all that's happening.
Hand counting, go ahead.
Okay. As far as the hand count, now, when they have this hand count, there are people from both sides of the party, and then there is kind of a pollster, a person that works at the polls. He's supposed to be impartial. Now, when they determine these ballots, and they look and they say, okay, here's one for Bush, here's one for Gore.
Yeah.
Now, when there's a discrepancy, okay, now let's say they picked one at my ballot, and there was a discrepancy. Maybe the hole wasn't punched right or something, a little mark. Now, don't you think it's unfair to have those three people determine what my vote is?
No.
No?
No, I don't. I think that
they're making an assumption.
They're making an assumption based on some evidence, and you have three people, or maybe more, by the way. You have three people, one from one party, one from another, and a third party, okay, and other observers, all right. And they're going to say, well, obviously, at whatever the object is, okay. I think that he was going to go for Gore, as an example, or Bush. Okay, and everybody votes, and that's it.
Okay,
I mean,
I'm following you so far.
And so what I'm saying is that, there's going to be, in other words, like they're talking about these stupid chads that are hanging, off a hole, okay? Right. Or somebody, as they mentioned, somebody makes a note, draws a line and puts it to Gore's name and circles it, or Bush's name and circles it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
After they realized they screwed up and they didn't know they could go to the election board person, okay?
Right.
So they circle Gore's name, okay? Those are arguments to say, well, obviously this person was going for Gore or Bush, all right?
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right. Well, I want to just give you this funny story.
Okay.
It's unbelievable. I'm a food server, okay? I won't say where, but I'm serving these people, and they're saying, I haven't been here in 30 years. It's still the same. It's unbelievable. It's great and everything. And I said, well, how come you haven't been here in 30 years? They says, well, we lived in California. Now we live in Florida. So jokingly, I said, you're not one of the people that punched the wrong hole, are you? And they looked at me, and they said, yes, I am. And come to find out, they were explaining all this thing to me, how they think they punch. Listen to this now. It's not they punched. They think they said they're gonna file a complaint and everything like that. So I laid back. I didn't want to say anything, right? So now they paid their check, and they paid with a credit card. And I'm looking at the slip, and guess what? They signed it on the wrong line. Honest to God, I'm telling you right now, and it was
Great
the funniest
story,
thing.
Mike.
Unbelievable.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, bye now. Barry is on WPRO. Hi, Barry.
Yeah, hi. I just got to say, this whole thing amazes me because everybody seems to be in search for the truth of what really happened.
I don't think so.
Well, I think
they're in search of getting their person in. That's what I'm hearing.
And that will be based on the truth of the election, as if we can count these ballots, get a truth from it, and get the right person in office. There's a problem. There's a fundamental problem. The search for this truth is based on a flawed system. These elections, the method of tabulating votes, it's a flawed system. There's no standardized system across the country. There's problems in every precinct, in every county in this country.
Yeah.
The system is flawed, and now from the flawed system, we're going to try to argue in that system and find truth. It's not going to happen, no matter how hard we try. One side is going to say, well, if they get elected, well, we've got the truth because we were able to...
Yeah, the best we can do, though, and this is why this is important, the best we can do is to diminish that perception that you have.
And how do you do that?
Well, with a hand ballot, to start with, the hand counting.
Well, the problem with that is you need, because of the magnitude of this election, voting for the President of the United States, I think it's important to have some precedent to go on. And because we don't have that precedent...
No, they do have it. They've already done it in Florida
Well, we're going to have to make up the rules as we go along.
No.
And that's
not in Florida. That's not true. In Florida, they are very litigious, and they have it all figured out.
Well, they have some precedent with mayoral elections and a couple of elections that I've heard about. But still, we're talking about Florida in respect to the rest of the country. And we really don't have a precedent for this.
All right. I got to hold you there. Thanks a lot. 437-0630. 1-800-321-97. Who's this on the air here? Nobody from there? Okay. Somebody, I don't know who this person's doing there's a press conference going on now on MSNBC. I don't know who that is. We'll have to find out who that is. 437-0630, telephone number to call. Mr. M is in Tiverton on WPRO. Howdy.
Hi, David. I think you got it right. The thing we got to do is come to the right conclusion in terms of what was the will of the votership.
Mm-hmm.
And across the whole country, if necessary, most places recounts of the like will not be necessary, but we should look, closely at the ballots where things are, where the results are tight.
Okay.
But what I wanted to call attention to is the lead editorial in our newspaper of record, the Providence Journal, known.
You got to move it along. I got about full lines.
Full
lines. Just get to it. Go ahead.
Did you see that? Did you see the lead editorial today?
No.
Well, listen to this. It's so full of flaws.
Mr. M, no, I haven't got time for a long thing.
The vote has been
give me the point.
And recounted. Well, that's not even true. In some places in Florida, it hasn't even been counted yet.
Okay. All right.
Let alone recounted.
Mm-hmm.
It said that the ballots are similar to those in previous elections, the ballots in Palm Beach County. Not true. Copies of the ballots they weren't copies, weren't mailed to them.
All right, Mr. M, this is really, no offense, but this is really boring me now. Get to your point.
Why is it boring?
Get to your point.
Look,
I don't care what the Journal says. I don't care. Talk to me about what you think.
Well, I'm telling you what I think, that a newspaper of record should be ashamed of itself.
Well, call them and tell them.
Like that.
Call them and tell them.
It's full of flaws.
Fine. Thank you very much. And also walls and windows. Good Lord. Come on, man. Get with the program. We got full lines here. I don't care about the Journal. Talk to me about what you think. Jim is in Providence on WPRO. Hi, Jim.
Hey, how are you?
Yes, sir.
Dave. You said something earlier that is incorrect.
Okay.
And you're a victim of the media. And
oh, yeah, I'm right. Okay, just tell me what I said.
You said that in the Palm Beach area, no one, Pat Buchanan wouldn't get many votes.
No, that's not what I said.
What did you say?
That's not what I said. See, now you're a victim of the media because you didn't listen to me.
Okay.
I paraphrased Mr. Buchanan, who said that even he realizes
then he went on to
that he wouldn't. That he even realizes that he would not have gotten as many votes as he did out of that section. That's his words.
Except there's one problem. In Palm Beach County, in 1996, Pat Buchanan, in a Republican primary, which wasn't even a general election, Republican primary, received 8,722 votes.
Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Buchanan, so what's your point?
Mr. Buchanan is
he a liar?
Always remember that Mr.
Is he a liar?
Is always playing
so he's a liar.
to hike his speaking fee.
So he's a liar.
Mr. Buchanan
is a liar.
No,
he either told the truth or he didn't tell the truth.
One truth.
Did he tell the truth?
We only know one.
So he didn't. So he's a liar.
And that is that 8,722 people in 1996 voted for Pat Buchanan. You cannot say that people do not vote for Pat Buchanan.
That's not what I said.
Area.
That is not what I said. I paraphrased what he said.
3,000 votes.
First of all, I paraphrased what he said, and your quarrel is with Mr. Buchanan and not with me.
Myth that Pat
Mr. Buchanan is an anti-Semite. Mr. Buchanan is
section of the
Mr. Buchanan
Palm Beach is incorrect.
I think you should take that up with him. He's the one that said it.
I'm taking it up with you.
You can't take it up with me. I'm quoting him.
Pat Buchanan will say anything and do anything.
Therefore, he's a liar. There he's a liar. That's it.
No, he's a bad animal.
He's an anti-Semite. He's an anti-Semite, and he's a liar. He's a hateful anti-Semite, and he's a liar. He absolutely is. Well, listen, I think you should find out about him because you just called him a liar.
The myth that he can't get 3,000 votes in Palm Beach County is untrue. He received
Speak to him about it.
722 of them in 1996.
Speak to him about it.
What? No, I'm talking to you about it.
Well, you got to talk to him. He's the one that said it.
The woman down in the community center who said no one would vote for Buchanan.
Jim, he's the one that said it. Talk to him. He's the liar. He's the anti-Semite. Talk to him.
Oh,
all right.
Thanks. Pat Buchanan?
Thanks a lot, Jim. Appreciate it. 437-0630. We don't even have time for last words. There's so many people on the line. You can't believe it. Amy is on WPRO.
Hi. I just wanted to say I think the reason that we're having this problem now is because of the fact that we had so many wimpy Republicans who were afraid to take President Clinton out when they should have, that now this is the effect. I think that a lot of it has to do with Al Gore's big, fat, pompous ego, and he's sitting up there on his throne in Washington, D.C., letting all these people throw, like Jesse Jackson going down there inciting people, trying to start a race war with people. And I think it's really disgusting, and I think that for once this administration should put aside their own big, fat ego and do what is right for this country. What do you think about that?
I think it's nice to have a balanced view of it, that somebody who is completely unprejudiced and has no personal axe to grind, we hear from. That's terrific.
I think that you're just using that, but really, I mean, this has to do with Al Gore and his ego. He's had a recount. He's had a count twice.
You know, Amy, it's too bad.
You know, if
the situation were reversed,
you recount the vote.
If the situation were reversed,
it is going to lean towards Democrats.
Well, then why shouldn't he have the job?
Well,
then?
why shouldn't we recount them in all the districts?
That's okay with me. Recount them everywhere.
Recount them in the Republican districts also.
Absolutely.
But they're only calling for the three that are heavily Democratic.
Well, that's fine. I didn't say I thought that was a good idea. I said we should recount them all.
You know, this is a typical Al Gore. Laundering money through Buddhist temples and passing
the campaign. Amy, you're wasting your breath. The campaign's over, Amy.
No
just
controlling
upset.
legal
you're
authority. That's all I'm going to say. Bye-bye.
Chicken. See, now, then she runs. And she started off saying that the Republicans were wimpy. She started off saying, she knows she is a Republican. I guess she knows. She started off saying the Republicans are wimpy. And then she just ran. So who's a wimp? She just ran. How sad. Oh, my God. And these people are voting. And she's right, I guess. She said the Republicans are wimpy, and then she just ran like a thief. Charles is on WPRO.
Yeah, hello. How you doing?
Hi.
I have a question for you.
I got an answer for you. Let's see if they match.
Do you think that if this fiasco down in Florida, if that would have happened down in the Bayou country with the poor blacks and the poor whites, do you think that they would have 2 and 3 bites at that same apple that the people down in Florida are getting?
Probably not.
Well, what's at work here? Just because you have money, I saw a film clip the other night, a bunch of Bentleys, Mercedes-Benz, and Rolls-Royces pulling up the street to vote.
Is this new for you, sir?
What's that?
Are you just coming to this realization?
Well, what does they say? Power and money is the name of the game?
That's it, sir. That's what it's about.
Well, is that fair in America?
Well, you can work to change it, sir. You could run for office.
I have been thinking about it.
Do it, baby. All right, thank you. 437-0630, 1-800-321-WPRO, star 630 on your cellular one, you and me on the radio. Lines are full up. Let's get to it. 437-0630, 1-800-321-WPRO, and star 630 on your cellular one. Don't bother, though. Lines are completely jammed. And we're going to try to move this along as quickly as we can to get in as many people as we can. Dave Kane with you until 4 o'clock. And James is in Springfield. Hi, James. Hello. Oh, we lost James. All right, let me see. Let's go to Vinny in Coventry. Hi, Vinny.
Good afternoon, Dan, and WPRO 630 AM. You're doing a good job.
Thank you, but I'm Dave.
And I ran for office many times.
Yeah.
And I think it's the right of any candidate to ask for a recount.
All right.
And this recount is the greatest thing going on because 19 ballots were rejected, and I think when the outcome of the absentee ballots is going to be quite a shock to the opposition.
Well, wait a minute. Who's the opposition? Hold on. Who's the opposition?
Well, I think it's going to be the Republican Party for one reason. Jim Baker today now wants to go to federal court. And I think by him doing that shows they're really upset that they worry about the outcome of the recount.
Okay, thanks a lot, Vinny. I appreciate it. Richard is in Millis, Mass. Hi, Richard.
Hi, thank you, Dave. No, I was just trying to follow up on that previous comment as far as Jim Baker injunction and see what you think about if that's justified.
Well, I think that the motivation is that they, whoever they are afraid. You know, if they thought they were going to win this thing hands down, they wouldn't be doing this, right?
Right.
Okay. And if Gore thought he was going to win it hands down, he wouldn't be asking for recounts, right?
Yeah.
So the bottom line is that both of these people are afraid they're going to lose the election. And I think that you and I deserve to have a real election so that you and I know exactly who won fairly and squarely. I don't care how many recounts we do. I don't care how long it takes. We have till January 20th before we have to empty the seat.
Now, do you think it's fair if the Gore team goes after only 4 counties? I think that that's trying to tray the hand heavy on an area that I think that we should be talking about all of it. Correct. Yeah, I think that's what we have to look at is doing, if we're going to do a hand count, do the entire state so it's an equal for both teams.
All right.
And that's why Jim Baker was justified for doing that, because it's like, listen, that's really throwing the election toward one side by doing that. And, that's I think it's in best interest for everybody to, if you're going to do it statewide.
All right. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Bye-bye. Jen is in Warwick on WPRO. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
Hi.
I have 2 points. Let's see. The recount in Florida.
Don't brag.
Okay. I am against it, only because on CNN this morning they were talking about how they were going to go about with the recount by hand and go on the voters' intentions and how they were going to judge each vote, how they were going to determine...
Not each vote, the ones that are in question, not
right.
each vote.
But the fact that that if they're invalid, they're invalid.
Well, wait a minute now. If you realize after you poke this hole out that you poked for Buchanan instead of Bush as an example,
then it would be my mistake, and I
well,
have
it
to
might
live
be,
with it.
but if you could rectify that, and you could make it
These
clear.
are the same people in restaurants who make a mistake and they do what,
Well, I'm sorry you feel that this is a valuable.
Of, I want my way and I want it now.
Well, I'm sorry. It sounds like that's what you're saying. You want your way and you want it now. Let's go through the recount. What are you afraid of?
Exactly, the recount, though.
All right, fine.
When they are going through this process,
right?
Of course, they're going to have people looking over their shoulders or anything else, but
you're afraid. Are you afraid?
No, I'm not.
Well, if you really want, I know you're a Bush person, right? You're a Bush person.
You're taking that assumption.
Are you or not? I'm asking you.
Yes, I did vote for Bush.
So my point is, if you thought your guy was going to absolutely win, no matter how many counts they did, why would you care how many they did?
Because this is the other point now.
Yeah.
Do people trust politicians? No, just kidding. No, where is our trust? Our trust is in ourselves. Okay.
I guess I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
I mean, this is making such a big mess.
Well, I'm sorry about that, but this is America, and this is the way the system is set up, and it's too bad. Next time, maybe one of the other side will either do a better job in gaining more.
This is not going to, this is not going to give us more trust in our politicians, though.
Well, maybe you. It'll make me trust them because we're holding them to the fire on this one, and we're making sure that this hand count, for example,
they did show though on CNN. The reporters were asking them, "Oh, so does this one? And how would this vote be determined? If it was partially punched, if there was an impression, or this, if it was in this case."
I'm up against news. I got to hold you, Jen. Give me a last word.
The potential for, when they say that there's no standards, and the potential for error and the potential for tampering is there.
No tampering. No, not tampering, because you got people I got to hold you. I'm up against news, but not tampering. Especially the hand ballots. There's going to be too many eyes watching this thing go on. But thanks, Jen. I appreciate it. We have news coming up, and then we'll be back on the other side of whatever the hell this is. Oh, yes, this is WPRO Radio until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Dave Kane on the special edition of 1 to 4. If you're holding on the line, you may hold through the news, and we will together make things happen, you and me. Okay, if you'd like to, I'd love to have you do so. And we'll be doing it right after we go to news on WPRO, and we'll do that right now.
News Talk Radio 630 WPRO Providence.
Kane and Company is adult in nature and is not suitable for all audiences. The content of this program is one that a truly free society would not attempt to censure or suppress.
Sunday, Monday, happy days.
Peekaboo you, it's me, Dave Kane, on the radio until 4 o'clock this afternoon. New hours for today only. So we can talk about the election process and problems in the country's having right now. 437-0630, 1-800-321-WPRO, star 630 on your cellular one.
Gray sky.
And we're talking about all that's on your mind, and Tony is in East Providence. Tony, you're on WPRO.
Yeah, by the way, I am a man who's 79 years old.
Yeah.
My wife's 77. In the Journal, which you kind of knocked down a little bit with the editorial, they showed a copy of the voting ballot. And it was about half or a third of the size of the original one. And we were able to read it very easily. She did it by herself. I did it by myself. And we did it with less than a minute of what they showed. And so I believe that another thing you mentioned also, that the last election, I've been a bug on this, and I've been listening to the various CNN shows and CNBC and the works, Jennings and all of them. You know? And their last election, which is a couple of years ago, right, was 15,000 problems like this. And this was told by those people.
50 what? What was that?
15,000.
What are you talking about? What?
15,000 votes that were thrown out.
Yeah.
It was like basically the same thing as this. In the meantime.
And you think that's okay?
Pardon?
You think that's okay?
No, wait a minute. Right. This is a couple years ago, right?
Yeah. Well, get to your point, please.
The county has increased. I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people. And as a result, it seemed to jive with that. And it seemed though these elderly people were old, and it isn't their fault, and they weren't able to comprehend it, and they were probably their hands were shaking. I'm 79, my 77.
Yeah, but Tony, I'm not sure what you're saying. What is your point?
My point is this: that they made the mistake, the ones that made the ballot, And I used to work in the ballot years ago, and at one time, when you made a mistake, that was it. And they would let you do it right then. You could tell them there that you were short to the warden of the various vote polling places, and they would say, okay, do it again because of this. But then if it wasn't, they wouldn't let you. So what I am saying is that it seemed though there were a captive audience, and all the elderly people brought in from these various apartment places, and they came in by the busload.
If that were the case, Tony, then they would have been instructed better.
That's right, they were.
But they weren't. But they weren't, obviously, because they screwed up the ballots.
No, the reason why, because all of them, they couldn't understand. You've seen these people.
I think that you're making a lot of assumptions, Tony, and I appreciate that you've been around for 79 years, but you weren't there. You weren't on the bus. You don't know what you're talking about.
I think I know what I'm talking about.
I'm sure you do. Most people who call think that. Just because you're 79 doesn't make you the, a guru here.
It's lucky to keep me that way. Otherwise, I probably could do the same thing.
All right. Thanks a lot, Tony. I appreciate it. All right. Kathy is on WPRO.
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
I just want to talk some facts. I was listening to MSNBC when I stopped by my mother's after being out all morning, and she had it on, and they had, in the last hour, they had a guy on from Tallahassee who was some kind of commissioner. And the reason he came on was he had put all this information together. He wanted to make sure people understood why they were wanting to do the hand count. And he went through a list of places around the country that uses the same punch cards system. And whenever there is a close race, they always do a hand count. And the reason they do is because a lot of times when it goes through the computer, a lot of cards come through saying that people didn't vote at all for certain candidates. And what happens is they're like little rectangle things that you punch out.
Excuse me, Kathy, I understand. Can we please get to the point? Because, my lines are full.
9,000, if you give me a chance, there are 9,600 cards that came through the computer that said that there were no votes on them for president, which they don't believe there's that many people.
So they'll go back and check. That's the point.
And so they want to 96,000. 9,600, Mary. Jesus.
All right, listen.
Anyway,
please, Kathy, come on.
The point is that for all those people who say that we shouldn't do a hand count, they've done it all over the country many times. It's kind of the status quo for these machines because there are always a lot of things that don't get registered when they go through the computer.
Okay.
And if it's a real close race like this, the only way you can get an accurate count is to look at it by hand. They've got people from both parties.
Not by hand, by eye. Yeah.
And hand and eye to really look at these cards.
All right. Okay, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Pat is in the truck on WPRO. Hi, Pat.
Okay, first of all, since this seems to be the litmus test, I actually voted for Nader.
Okay.
So I'm not a real big fan of either of these guys.
Well, it's not my litmus test, but go ahead.
Well, it seems to be because we seem to be qualifying people's opinion based on who they vote for. I mean,
you can tell who they. No, you got it the other way around. You can tell who they voted for by their opinion.
Right. Okay. So all right. So I come at this as someone who's proud to be about to. Hopefully soon I'll be able to declare myself as a member of the Green Party. So the hell with all of you. And anyway, and by the way, all the millions of dollars in technology spent on voting, and we still can't find who killed the young woman.
Jennifer Rivera, thank you very much. That's right. I've been so busy today I didn't mention. I want to know where Jennifer Rivera's killer is. Thank you.
All this effort on voting, and yet we still can't find someone.
I know.
Anyway,
I know.
But that just as an aside, let me throw that in there. Anyway, I guess this is my thought. I mean, this country has spent a gazillion dollars to automate the voting process. All right. Now it's clear, and look at it this way. At least this is one thing we seem to have gotten right in Rhode Island, and I think a lot of credit should go out to James Langevin because he brought in the system that seems to be working very, very well here in an ethically challenged environment.
Until we find out it isn't.
Well, there you go. Be that as it may.
Yeah.
All right. The reason why we spent this gazillion dollars was to get away from the hand count. So I can tell you, I grew up in a Democratic household where my mother was everything from a ward person to an alternate to a Democratic National Convention. All right. And the hand counting that is about to take place on a broad scale is a highly flawed process where, number one, even if people are acting in the best of intentions, all right, you've got human intervention. Number two,
you've also got people checking those human interventions with other.
Well, yeah, but let me point out an analogy. All right, we've all seen on TV the whole concept of how a jury is picked.
Well, before we do that, just tell me what else you would do. I mean,
what else I would do? I think at this point, for the good of the country, and there was a point in time when the good of the country overwhelmed individuals' desires.
So the good of the country. Go ahead. What is it? What?
For the good of the country, the second machine recount has taken place. We kick back and wait in a couple of states where absentee ballots are going to make the difference. We hand count the absentee ballots, and after that, whatever's done is done because we are getting into uncharted territory here.
All right. Thanks a lot, Pat. I appreciate it. 437-0630, 1-800-321-9776, star 630 on your cellular one phone. I'm going to ask you to call. Get to your point quickly. Don't give me the history of rock and roll or the history of voting in the country. Let's talk about what you think. This is a very important issue. It is Veterans Day, and all of these veterans who have given their lives are lying on the ground right now watching people jump ugly with this system. And I wonder how you feel about that. 437-0630, 1-800-321-9776, star 630 on your cellular one.
Time to decorate.
Hey, listen, my buddies Bob and Vivian Bartlett are out there ready at Superior Interiors, Route 1 North Attleboro, just north of Emerald Square Mall. And they've got wallpaper right now. Big savings on wallpaper, wall covering of all kinds. All from Brewster Wall Covering. That's right. Andover, Beacon, House, Burge, Brewster, Mirage, J. Chesterfield, Foremost, and lots more. All of this terrific. Brewster Wall Covering, 25% off right now at Superior Interiors. Easy to find, just north of Emerald Square Mall, across from the cinemas there. Here's the phone number to call, 695-2528 in North Attleboro, 695-2528. Superior Interiors. Tell them I sent you.
We're superior.
You can even talk to Jennifer if you want.
Your place for everything.
Not that I would suggest it.
For everything in your place, we're superior.
We're going right back to the phones, so listen up. 437-0630, 1-800-321-WPRO. And George is in Warwick on WPRO. Hi, George.
Hey, how you doing, Pat?
Yes,
how
sir.
You doing? I haven't been listening too long, but I don't know if anybody brought this up. I have a question.
Yeah.
On that ballot that they canceled 20,000 votes
Yep.
in Florida, is there such a law that the Democrat and the Republican Party, in other words, Bush was in column 1, right?
Yeah, the law is that the first major, the two major parties are first.
And second.
And then the other parties third.
Right, so from what I understand, they had Buchanan in the second column.
Well, they had him second as the second hold, yes.
Right.
And that's one of the confusions.
Yeah, that is a confusion.
Yes.
So that the best thing, like you say, they should vote again only in that county.
Well, as it pertains to that, but there's maybe a lot of other challenges as well. I mean, now you got New Mexico, and there's 2,000 ballots missing.
Wow. Yeah, that's true, too.
I mean, I think that maybe, I don't know what, I mean, I think we ought to be just doing recounts all over the place. So why is everybody in such a hurry?
Oh, I know it. I'm in no hurry. You got to do the right thing, and it'll come out. It'll come out. But what I was going to say, if this was vice versa, Bush, he would do the same thing.
Well, I don't know. I would think I would want him to, because I mean, we got to know who the real guy is here.
Yeah. Because Gore did call and concede until they gave the wrong.
All right. There. Thanks a lot, George.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Angela's in Cranston. Hi, Angela.
Hello, Dave.
Yes.
You know what bothers me more than anything? Everybody's talking about Gore and Bush, right?
Yeah.
In my situation, the way I think of this, it's the administration. There's a stain on this administration, and it's always going to be there, and the people are sick of it. It's over... How many thousands of people work for the Clinton administration? We got to clean those people out. And every time there's...
Well, all of that is wonderful, but the campaign is over. Angela, the campaign is over.
Yeah, it is.
We're talking about the election now.
So.
We're talking about the election.
Jackson wants to run this
We're
country.
talking about the election now.
Who you working
for? We're talking about the election. We are
this
talking
is over.
about
It's
the
over.
election.
I've made
That's
mistakes
right.
in
It's
my
over.
time.
It's
I'm
over.
78 years old. I'm sure I've made mistakes. I never went back and said I want my vote back.
I'm sorry you did
This
it.
is crazy.
I'm sorry you
I
didn't
don't
do
want
it.
this administration. They're stained.
Well, I don't know if you realize,
They're
Angela.
all stained people. We
Clinton
want
is
this.
going out now.
We want Jesse Jackson and his crew out of there.
Clinton
They're
is
suing
going
everybody
out
in the country. And we want these rotten lawyers out of here. And that's all I can say. And I was a Democrat. I'm ashamed to say it.
Calm down,
There's
Angela.
too many crooked people in this administration.
Calm down, Angela. Calm down. You're going to give yourself a coronary.
I'm telling you, I'm tired of this stuff.
Calm down.
You look at all the United States, and the places where all the Democrats live, that's where all the trouble is. Always. Plunderdome. You talk about, you go on the East Coast, the West Coast, all these people that want drugs, they want this, they're now all the unions. It's all the union people that want to stay in there to run this country. This is ridiculous. And Jesse Jackson is ruining this country. We don't want to run like Africa.
There you go. There you go. I'd like to say to the Republicans, look who's on your side. Rick's on a cell phone at WPRO. Hello.
Hi, Dave.
Howdy.
Hello?
Yep.
Yes, I just wanted to say that I was in favor of recounting the ballots. In fact, I don't care how long it takes, and I think they should recount the ballots until they get the same count twice. So even if after this recount it differs from the other ones, then they should recount them again until they get the final count.
Yeah, everywhere, too. Not just the Democratic, areas, too. I mean, let's do the whole damn thing over again and find out who the hell won.
I would be absolutely against anyone re-voting, because if you allow certain people to re-vote, it makes their vote count more than mine.
Yeah, I agree.
I voted Tuesday.
I agree.
You know?
I agree. But we ought to find out what the deal is on these 19,000 also.
Well, those 19,000 people, unfortunately, who may have accidentally punched two holes.
Well, they may or may not have, and that's the point. In other words, they may or may not have, and that's the point of this.
Well, what are your thoughts on a national election again? In other words, just taking this one and chucking it and...
Well, no, because I would... I think that maybe what you want to do is you want to go to some of these close places and do some recounts. New Mexico and a couple of others.
I'm not saying the recounts, though, but I'm saying if at the end of all of this squabbling they can't agree on anything, why not do a national re-election?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, but it's an interesting concept. I thank you, Rick.
Sure,
Bye-bye.
Sure. Bye.
Lewis is in Brookfield, Mass. Hi, Lewis.
Hi, Dave. Good job with the people here.
Well, you do what you can with what you got. What can I do for you?
No, I was just looking at. I think it's funny how everybody across America is looking just at this Florida state. And
Yeah.
it affects all of us.
Yeah, that's what they don't seem to understand. Is that this is serious stuff about everybody.
Right, and it's all concentrated just down, in one state and in 4 counties, and we, it's best interest of everybody.
Yeah.
To just look at what's going on here and say, wow, step back, relax.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get everybody back up and get away from the partisan stuff, and let's just find out if your guy, whoever that is, really won.
Right.
Otherwise, it's going to be terrible for whoever wins to govern under this situation.
Right. If it's Bush, if it's Gore, how if the mudslinging goes on, they're going to damage each other.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Karen's in the car in WPRO. Hi, Karen.
Hi. How are you?
Good. Thanks.
I just want to make a point that these two guys, Bush and Gore, are both talking about trying to unite this government and these parties, and they're not doing that. All they're doing right now is dividing, and really, I think, creating a lot of bad feelings on both ends.
So what do you think they ought to do, Karen?
Huh?
What do you think they ought to do?
They've done a count. They've done a recount. I don't know how many times you have to recount, but I think that at some point,
let me ask you a question, Karen. Let me ask you a question, okay? Let's say you're going to go out to dinner,
right?
And you got so much money in your pocketbook, and you count it, you got $10 more,
right?
The second time you count it, you got $10 less. Are you going to count it a third time?
I might count it a third time, but I'm not going to count it a fourth and a fifth.
Well,
and then,
if you keep getting a different answer, aren't you going to count it until you're sure?
I would probably want to do that, but
and that's what we deserve.
Issues going on
that's
too.
what we deserve, though. I mean, before the legal issue, let's get to the seriousness of it. The bottom line is that you and I deserve to know who really won this election.
Absolutely.
And I don't care how many times we recount. Where is it written that we can't do 5 recounts? Where is it written that we can't do 20 recounts? Where is it written we can't do a hand count? Where is it written? Show me. Where is it written that this has to be over by Thursday?
It's not written anywhere,
Okay.
but I mean, don't you think they should unite rather than divide?
No, I think that we should find out who the real president is, and then we can reunite. We can unite. We're not going to do this until we. I mean, that's like you and me having something between us. But we never settle.
Do you think that either one of them are going to be able to really run this country?
I think that
efficiently, well, after all this.
The damage may already have been done, but it will at least clarifying it and making it clear who really won, even if it's by 1 vote when it's all over. At least there'll be because other than that, we're going to have this kind of animosity that you're hearing on the air now going on for 4 years.
So you think they should recount?
I think we should find out, recount. I don't care how many. I want to know who really won. I don't care how. I want to know who won.
That's the answer, though. Recount so you get the same count twice.
I think that's at least a reason. I think that I don't. Well, at least I think it's reasonable. I think to find out, double check everything, and then find out where it is. And I don't care if whoever wins, and I don't care if it's 1 vote, but I want to know for sure. That it's because they don't really win by 1 vote. They win by 48 million won, whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, that's not important to me. I just want. I don't want a cloud over this whole thing that we have now, and the only way we're going to get rid of it is by making sure we check it.
So, do you think that a re-election might be an answer?
No, I don't think a re-election. I think that we have to go back and find out what really happened here. If there's incompetence in the voting to begin with. Where the real votes are, just find out, double check. I mean, if you were a teller, Bob Newhart, Bob Newhart, the comedian.
Yes.
he used to be a teller in a bank, and he used to say sometimes he'd reconcile his drawer at night. Sometimes he'd be a buck over, sometimes he'd be a buck short. He'd throw in a buck, he'd take a buck. That's why he's not a teller anymore.
Well, I understand, but I think maybe the answer is then to fix the way that these ballots, it should be
Good
one
start.
uniform ballot across the country.
Good start. And something easy, something that doesn't take I mean, when people say, well, this guy's old and therefore he's feeble, Then let's make it so that the biggest moron walking the face of the earth, me, could do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, thanks a lot, Karen.
All right,
Bye-bye.
thank you.
What do you want?
Hey.
Hey.
Are you watching TV?
No, I'm on the radio, you fool.
CNN
Yes.
just awarded Florida to Lou Vinagro.
No kidding. Was it a write-in?
Actually, Channel 10 gave it to Mirth York. They still can't get it right.
They still can't get it right. This is Charlie Hall from the Ocean State Follies and Stage in downtown Providence. He's checking in real quick to tell us Lou Vinagro has taken Florida.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like to see Lou in Florida.
Here's what we should do.
Yes.
What you do is you give Bush all the states that he won.
Yes.
You give Gore, let him be the president of all the states that he won.
Yeah.
You give Ralph Nader Yellowstone National Park. Maybe, since Florida's so close, you give it to Elian Gonzalez.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You know what the worst thing is now, David?
What?
You know, all this recount is spawning recounts all over the country.
Yes.
Today I heard that Kelly asked for a recount on Survivor.
Are you going to use all this material tonight?
Why not?
All right. I'm full up, so I got to go. Tonight, what's happening at Stage?
Well, Ocean State Follies at 8:15. Call 621-4141. Come see us.
The 621-4141 Ocean State Follies, and more of this foolishness from Mr. Hall.
And Miss Gibbons will be there in December 7th and 10th, so come on and see him.
Oh, is that when it is? I better write it down. All right, thank you.
All right.
See you later. Bye-bye. 437-0630, as the man says, you and me on the radio till 4 o'clock this afternoon. A couple of lines open now on WPRO, talking about the election. And Matt's in Attleboro on WPRO. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Dave. How you doing?
Yes, sir.
Good. Dave, I think a lot of mistakes were made, but I think probably the biggest one was the state of Florida after the first recount being wrong by 1,200 votes. So maybe the only way to rectify that would be to hand count, wait for the votes to come from the absentee ballots, count them by hand, and see where we stand. But they did make a real big mistake, and maybe even legal allegations are valid.
I mean, let's assume for a moment that nobody messed with it, okay? Let's assume that it's human error.
Right.
So let's start over, do the count, as you say, do the hand count, wait for the absentees, and let the chips fall where they may.
That's a good analogy, and I think that the people that called and said that people that made mistakes on their votes and on their voting wouldn't count.
Yeah, it's
and that's
sad.
the way it goes.
Well,
that's their problem, and they're actually dummies.
So
the state of Florida,
but it's
what the
ego.
heck?
But you know what? It's ego, and this is valuable. You know what I mean? I mean, let me give you an example. I'm walking along the street, right, and I think I've put my wallet in my pocket. And because I'm not paying attention, I drop the wallet and there's $50,000 in there, and you see me do it. Are you morally obligated to say, wait a minute, you dropped your wallet?
In a second, I just think that morally,
so
of course.
So a vote, even though I made a mistake, it's intent. I obviously didn't mean to hand you that wallet, did I?
Right.
And so let's have some morals here and say, you know, maybe it's all baloney, and maybe there were only 12 people that did that. But let's at least try to make sure that everybody gets the franchise. This is Veterans Day. People died to make sure that the vote was valued.
Right, and not just this fast thing where they have to know right now. What's this thing about having to know right now? We're in no hurry.
We're in a fast food, drive-through.
Fast cars, fast food.
Right, redial.
I'm in no hurry, and if someone goes into the office and you know they're going to find out later about what's going on.
Yeah.
And if somebody goes into the office and it's wrong, I mean, all the people that voted for them, when they back out of their driveway in the morning, are going to think, and look what we got away with. Or I don't know,
okay,
and the
buddy.
other people are going to be very mad.
I got to hold you there. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Dave is in Johnston. Dave?
Yes, how's it going?
Yes, sir.
Small thing here. First of all, do you think the people in Florida, do you believe that for those ballots, I guess, who weren't fully punched, do you believe that they should be counted based on their intent of who they were voting?
Well, it depends on. I think that it depends, and again, I'm not talking about one person making that determination. Okay, I think that it depends on what is obvious here.
Okay.
Okay, and I don't know what that would be. For instance, if somebody wrote, circled Bush, like they meant to push the Bush button, and they pushed the Buchanan one by mistake.
Yeah.
And they circled Bush and drew a line or something. I mean, something that's obvious like that as an example. You know, maybe.
I mean, well, the counter argument that I have for that is, let's say, for example, I'm taking an SAT test to get into a college. I have to have a certain score to get to, say, a prestigious college, and I fall short of that due to the fact that I did not fill in the circles dark enough with my number 2 pencil. Now, am I not able to go back there and, even though I had the intent of picking the right answer, go back there and fill in those circles that were probably the right answer? I mean,
no, but you can go back and darken the areas you filled in.
Yeah, and if those were all, they're going to give me more points to get into a college, I can no longer go back and do that because once it's done, it's done.
Yeah, but you should be able to. If you know, if it's about education. It isn't about how well you color or stay between the lines.
Right.
Okay. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. All righty. Let me see here. Lois.
Yes, hello.
Hi, Lois.
Hello. I think we should salute the Marines and the paratroops too.
Yes, ma'am.
Because my brother was in the Marines and
Yes,
my
ma'am.
nephew was in the paratroops.
Well, they're
killed in Vietnam.
Yeah, they're veterans.
I think we should salute them all.
Yes, ma'am.
But now I call for the reason that I couldn't tolerate that woman. You know that way back, 2 or 3 calls.
Oh, poor old Angela.
Blaming the Clinton administration for an election.
Well, you know, she's afraid we're going to end up being like Africa. So, you know, you have the answer there.
From?
I don't know.
She should learn something. She should listen.
All right, well, let's not do that because I can't have you jumping ugly with other callers, but I appreciate it.
I think you should count it.
All right.
Florida. It should be a count.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, John is in Warwick. John, you're on WPRO.
How you doing, Dave?
Yes, sir.
I just got a couple of comments. I mean, these people that are calling up saying about the hand count, did they really listen to what Baker had to say about the ambiguities involved in making decisions on what they think they voted for, or who they voted for, and all that? I mean, it's ridiculous. And this has been in place all these years. Why all of a sudden this election? Now all of a sudden,
well, that was the same argument.
Ridiculous thing.
Yeah, that was the same argument they had with segregation. You know, it's been in place all these years. Why change now?
Well, what's segregation got to do with
Well,
that?
because you're saying just because it was already always in place, it shouldn't be changed. That's what it has to do with it. If you find out it isn't working, it isn't working.
After the election, you can't do it now.
Well, why not? Of course you can. Of course you
can.
can.
Send the country into recession.
So, please, come on. This is about our vote. This is about our freedom. Cut the baloney. Now it's about money? About money for you, is it?
No, I'm not even a rich man. I'm a poor man.
Well, then what do you care?
It's about these drowning liberals that are desperate now.
Oh, now it's about liberals.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. Well, you know what? If they were drowning so bad, how come Bush is the one that's going to court?
You know what? I hope Gore does get in, just so we could laugh and sit back and watch him fall on his face because he's ruining his career. And I'm a Bush supporter. Okay?
No kidding.
I hope he does get in.
You're honest to God, John. You're a Bush supporter.
Yeah, I hope he gets in.
I wouldn't have guessed. I
hope Gore gets in.
So you don't care about the legitimacy of the vote. You only care that Bush gets in.
Legitimacy is what we have in place. Illegitimacy is when they go back and make these. Well, I think he voted for Gore here. Let's go with that. That's ridiculous.
That's not what they said.
That's exactly what he said. Did you listen to what Baker said?
Yeah. Baker was foolish to me.
Oh, come on.
He sounded foolish.
Come on.
Well, first of all, when he said that hand ballots are less trustworthy than an automatic count is hideously stupid.
Why should we have machines then? What's the point?
Pros. Well, I rest my case. I don't think we should. The pros will tell you that just doesn't.
I
That's
guess you
just
don't
not
like
true.
Technology then, huh?
It's not about not liking technology. This is about your vote.
Might as well go back to the Stone Age. I'll see you later.
I think you're there. I think you're there, John.
Please.
I think you're in the Stone Age.
You're obviously a liberal. Any fool can see that.
Well, you certainly nailed it, so I guess you're a fool, right? Thank you. Nancy is in Portsmouth.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
I happen to be a Bush supporter.
Yeah.
I try to be objective in my thinking, but
Good luck.
I did vote for him. Good luck, yeah. But I don't have a problem with the hand count. I think it's probably a good idea.
Yep.
But I don't think that they can have subjective decisions on what anyone else meant.
Yeah, I agree, but I think what they were talking about, I agree with that, but I think what they were talking about is, as I mentioned, is something that's obvious, okay? You know, like if I'm in the booth and I don't realize that I can go back out there with the, voting is so tense, right?
Yeah.
But if I don't realize and then I say, I punched the wrong thing, and then I take a pen out and I circle Bush's name, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I write, want to vote for Bush. Okay. All right. Let's say I write that on.
That's pretty positive. That's pretty obvious.
That's my point, and that's what they were referring to. Places where people obviously indicated. Okay.
Right.
And I don't even think if they punch 2 out, and one isn't all the way out and one is, sorry.
Yeah, that's
Toss
the way
it.
I think. If there are two
absolutely.
holds, disqualified. Period.
Absolutely.
So if they can do a really objective hand count, then I think they should go ahead and do it, because we need to know one way or another.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
All right. We're going to take a quick break and come back with more of Kane and Company. You're listening to WPRO Radio. 437-0630, 1-800-321-WPRO, star 630 on your cellular one. You and me on the radio till 4 o'clock this afternoon. I'm Dave Kane, and Toby's on WPRO. Hi, Toby.
Hey, I appreciate you taking my call.
Well, thanks for making it. What's up?
You know, I don't know if I can keep this simple. This seems to cover quite a bit of an area, but let me start with a statement of my beliefs. And my belief is this. America is a plutocracy, a government based on money. It's government of, by, and for the money. The extent of the people's power in this country is to vote for the politicians that will go up and look out for corporate interests. Having said that, let's get into what's going on in Florida. Having said that our vote is all we've got, when I look around and I see that essentially the vote is not taken very seriously by our government, it disgusts me.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Palm Beach 2 years ago, 15,000 votes were nullified because of the heinous system they run down there.
Mm-hmm.
And the Democrats said nothing. As public servants, they had an obligation to go in there and ensure that the voice of those 15,000 people were heard. Now this year it's 20,000. But because the election hinges on it, now all of a sudden the Democratic Party is very concerned for the voice of these people. Now let me jump on Bush for a minute. He has now come forward and said, well, if we open that can of worms, there are cans of worms we can open all over the country. Well, if you're a public servant and you're looking to serve and look after the will of the people, and you know or believe that there are people in other parts of the country and their vote was not accurately counted, then you have an obligation to bring it to the forefront.
All righty, I got to hold you there. I thank you for your call, though. 437-0630, 1-800-321-WPRO. Jay is in the car, WPRO. Hi, Jay.
Hi, how you doing?
Yes, sir.
Yes. I just got one thing to say to liberals, conservatives, Democrats, Republicans, whoever you are. The thing is, we wouldn't really have this problem if we could hit the middle ground. And that middle ground, when we were afforded it, was McCain.
Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it. 437-0630. Ted is in the car, WPRO. Hi, Ted.
Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question. You think we'd be having a recount if Gore had won the second recount?
Well, you may have had Bush asking for one, sure.
You think so?
Sure, why not?
A hand count?
Sure.
How many times are we going to recount it, though?
Why do you care? What is it about? What skin is it off your nose how many times they count it?
Because I don't think it's not an absolute where we can get an exact count by counting it over and over and over and over again.
You know, you started with 17 or 1,200 or whatever it was, and then went down to 300. I mean, don't you want to know who really won?
Sure, everybody would like to know who really won.
Well, then so why not?
But it's not an absolute. You can't.
Well, there are no absolutes. Oh, come on. Now, let's get serious. There are no absolutes. The bottom line is you either do or do not want to know who has really won that election. If you want to know, you have to do the work for it.
Yeah, but one state does not do the work for it.
It does in the Electoral College, sir. But read the book. It certainly does.
Suppose that one count comes up wrong, and you don't really know.
But that's why that's why you want more. You want more than one count. That's why you want a hand count. Absolutely.
But you can't keep counting until you get it exactly right.
Why not? Why can't you count it until you get it cross-checked? You can do it with numbers. You can do it as a CPA. You can do it with money. Why can't you do it with ballots?
Unless you start throwing out the ballots that are questionable.
Well,
and not
that's okay.
Them.
That's okay with me.
And then you just have the ones that are absolutely correct that there'll be no question.
That's okay with me.
Well, then let's do it. That's what
that's what we're saying.
With that, Dave.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Appreciate it. All righty. Let me see where Frank is in the car in WPRO. Hi, Frank.
Hi, Dave.
Yes, sir.
Dave, I'm a Bush supporter.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you that I don't have any problem with doing a hand count, and here's why. Machines are good at doing the things that they're programmed to do.
Yeah.
But whenever anything comes through the machine that is not what the machine is expecting, that's where you need human intelligence to decide what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And in voting, a hand count has always been considered the most accurate means of evaluating questionable ballots. So I don't have any problem with that. Now, I think I agree with you in that in the case of where you have double punch ballots or other ballots were miscast in some other way, that those should be disallowed. Mm-hmm. Because what I don't want to see is I don't want to see the authorities in Florida getting into the business of either making some statistical determination or some crystal ball determination. If somebody punched Gore and Buchanan, or if they punched Gore and Bush, which one that they really intended to vote for. You see what I mean?
Yep.
Because I think that would be wrong.
All right.
I don't think you can do it. Another point I want to make is I don't think you can do anything 6 million times and get it perfect.
No, but you can get it pretty close. And, I mean, you can certainly get it closer than 1,200 votes, right?
Yes.
You go from 1,200 or 1,700 or whatever it was, 1,200 I think it was, down to 300. You're getting closer now, right?
And yes. And the final point that I would make is that if I were Bush, I would certainly ask for a recount in the 4 close states, because I think that would be perfectly in order.
Yeah, I think everybody's entitled to it. Let's find out. You and I are entitled to it. That's the key. You and I are entitled to know who really wins this one.
And I agree with that. And the only, I'm a little bit worried though that they might try to start doing a crystal ball routine.
Well, they can't in a hand count. They're not going to be able to do that because there's too many eyes, and that's why I like the hand count thing. I got to hold you, Frank. Thanks for the call.
Okay.
All right, Jay is in the car in WPRO. Hi, Jay.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, sir.
Thanks very much for the show. Very interesting.
Glad you like it. Thank PRO for putting us on to this hour.
Well, thank you. I'm 100% agreement with you. We should recount and count these things until we've got them right. I think that these people who punched the wrong ballot, they should stop whining about it. You made a mistake. Too bad. And the Republicans that turned around in their car because MSNBC called Gore earlier, too bad.
Well, let me ask you this question, though. I mean, I don't want to get started on a big deal here, but with these ballots, this butterfly ballot, okay, do you think it's fair or reasonable to say, you made a mistake, screw you?
Well, I think yes, because there are plenty of poll workers in there. If they were confused, they didn't know what they were doing.
But many people don't know that. I'm going to tell you, I voted all of my life, and I would not think to do that. I would just think that I screwed it up, And many of these people also didn't realize it until after they got home.
I agree with you.
So now I've been beat out of it because of the lousy design. Should I pay that price? Should I have to pay the price of my vote because this ballot was lousy?
Well, I think you're going to have to, yes, because people make lots of mistakes in their lives and they have to learn from them.
Well, excuse me, it isn't a mistake if someone else has set me up for it.
Well, you could look at it that way, but if you really looked at that ballot, and I did, and it was confusing, but if you really took the time to read it...
Stop. It was confusing. But if you took the time, if it was confusing, there it is.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be confusing, and that's one of the major problems we have here.
I agree.
And people are afraid, and people don't want, and there's people waiting in line, and they're elderly. The elderly keep getting their butt kicked here. Like somehow they're morons.
I don't disagree with you, but we can't start recounting everybody and re-voting and going.
Well, I don't know why not. I mean, I'm not suggesting we're doing this, but I'm saying somebody says, well, we can't. Why can't we? We can do anything we want.
Well,
we're America. We can do anything we want if we think the result is going to be the real winner. We can do anything we want.
I don't disagree with you there, but if you do that, it opens up a big can of worms.
So what?
And it demeans the political process.
No, it doesn't at all. What it does is it points out for reality that this was a dumb-looking ballot. It didn't work, and now we've got to get our act together in our voting nationwide.
Well, I agree with you, but then what happens to the other people in the country that said, well, I really didn't mean to vote for Bush.
Well, like you said, we start next time.
Yeah, we learn from our mistakes and take what's on the table right now.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Jim is in the car in WPRO. Hi, Jim.
Hello. I just want to put my 2 cents in that I thoroughly disagree with you, and I'm a Democrat, and I voted Democrat pretty much straight. But there's no possibility. If people made mistakes, especially down in Florida, what that tells me is the Democratic pundits down there didn't do their job to prepare their voters. I know I worked in political campaigns. You sit down with everybody. You go to these nursing homes, these elderly homes. You prepare people. They made a mistake, and I understand it. It's confusing. Too bad. You had a chance to. You approved the ballot to be used. The Democratic Party approved the ballot just as the Republicans did. You go in there. Your people weren't ready. End of story. You do not go back. You do not give them another chance.
I didn't say give them another chance. I didn't say give them another chance.
No, you were definitely...
I did not say give them another chance.
Time out.
No, you time out.
No, time out. Well, you want to just...
See you later. No, you don't tell me time out. You don't tell me time out. This is my show. I didn't say give them another chance. I'm talking about recounts. I'm not talking about giving anybody another chance. Matt is in the Providence. Hi, Matt.
Hi. Someone called recently saying, giving a counterexample with the SATs and how they wouldn't. Yeah. I just wanted to comment that it's possible to, if you're unsure about your scores, you can call up that company and they'll hand score it for you.
Ah.
So I just thought that was just an
Great, Matt. Thanks a lot.
No problem.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Lewis is in Johnston on WPRO. Hello? Hello? Lewis? Lewis once? Lewis, I lost Lewis. Okay. Dave is in the car on WPRO. Hi, Dave.
Hey, how's it going, Dave?
Yes, sir.
My question to you is, I take it now, it doesn't matter to me whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or an independent.
Yeah.
But would you call yourself a Democrat? Or are you more on the lines of an independent?
I would probably consider myself an independent.
Okay. Now, the first party that started to complain about the butterfly ballot was the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that it wasn't fair. It was like a shock.
Yeah.
Now, the person who designed it was a Democrat.
Well, he approved
it. First got approved.
Yeah. All right, but I don't understand what that means. So what?
It was but it was advertised in the paper.
Yeah.
They did everything legal to make it fine. But the problem was when the people went in there, they didn't read it. They assumed.
Fine. So what? So what's the point?
So why should they get a second chance? Because they didn't use the human common sense.
Well, first of all, you're arguing a point that's got nothing to do with this election at this moment because those 19,000 aren't even being considered. We're talking about.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, but they're not even being considered now. We're talking about recounting votes that are legit. That's what we're talking about,
No,
and you're already down to 327 advance by Bush.
Now, when I watched the when they were bringing in the original. Remember when this was Thursday at 5:00, the state of Florida division of canvassers, or however they call it in Florida. They had that. The woman came on. There was the deputy of canvassers next to her, and there was another person. There was two men and a woman. And she said, as of 5:00.
Yeah.
Now I'm watching this at 6:00. Now I remember seeing. I left the television.
Right, come on.
Okay,
As of 5:00, what?
I'm going to make it real quick. The numbers that they gave did not match the numbers that Associated Press gave at 5:00.
Right.
They said at 5:00 there was 1,700, and Associated Press had it down to like 300 and change.
And the reason for that, is because the Associated Press takes its information and doesn't have to certify it. These people cannot officially certify these things until after, and so that's why that happened.
And I totally agree with what you're saying. But what I'm saying, we're taking Associated Press. Now, all day they said these are the projected ones. They never said this is actual.
Well, I got another one for you. You know, these same people that you're talking about posted signs in the voting areas saying that there may be confusion over this ballot. At 4:00, they put up signs
because they had a lot of people saying, "I don't understand."
Well, I rest my case.
Did you see on our ballot? Well, you voted in Rhode Island, I take it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did you know they didn't really go into detail, but did you know that on the back side there was more things to vote on?
You know what? I did not know that, and I almost missed it.
Now all I did was I knew there was more.
Yeah.
So I said,
I turned it by mistake. Right.
Let me turn it over and see if there's anything else, and I did, and the rest was on there.
Okay, Dave, I gotta hold you because I'm up against news. Have you got a last word?
I just say people had voted. They really should have read it and took their time.
Okay.
They weren't being rushed. Nobody's rushing you to vote. Take your time, read the ballot, make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and the outcome is what you want.
Okay, thanks a lot, Dave. Jerry's in the car, WPRO. Hi, Jerry.
How you doing?
Yes, sir.
2 cents.
isn't it the responsibility of every voter to pay attention to what they're doing instead of shirking the responsibility on the ballot?
Well, first of all, you use the word shirking. I think that if somebody goes and they misread the ballot, if you want to make that argument, screw you, that's up to you. Fine, go ahead and say it.
No,
but my point is that this ballot was questionable.
To vote.
This ballot was questionable in its presentation. That's fine with me. The 19,000 have been
voters in that district get it right.
Well, you know what? If that's fine with me, if that's got nothing to do with this, though. That's fine.
There's no argument. It was confusing. The deal has to be that, hey, me as a responsible citizen have to pay attention to what I'm doing. If my vote counts that much to me, I got to make sure I do it right.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's charming.
If you don't pay attention to what you're doing and you get it wrong, that's the way it goes.
All right, thanks a lot. Terry is in Coventry. Hi, Terry.
Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Good.
Listen, I'm surprised I got in. You guys, your phone lines seem to be jammed.
Well, they are. Go ahead.
That's a good thing, though, huh?
Yep.
Hey, listen, I'm all for the recount. I believe that there has to be some sensibility when you do it, and I just wanted to ask you what you thought about the stories that come out after this close call on the recount, especially in some of the websites have been showing pictures of this ballot. And I think one guy said he had his second grade class or several second grade class do the ballot and put like Disney characters in place of the names and that. And said none of them had a problem with it.
Yeah, that's fine. It's all moot because the 19,000 are all on the side. We're talking about the counts of all the other votes. You want to chuck them all, fine, chuck them all.
No. My point is this. You're right. The 19,000 is the mute issue.
Yeah.
But what really started the whole snowball recount was this Palm Beach problem.
And it's a serious problem. And we have to realize that we better get our act together and make it so that the greatest moron in the world, me, can vote without banging into yourself.
Hey, let me ask you. I'll get off and let you make a comment. What do you think? What do you think you're going to do after this election? Obviously, a national election is far more important than some of your state and locals. What do you think they're going to decide? These states get together and wise up and make one machine, one ballot, one standard.
Well, they're going to have to do something like that, and they may also be looking at the Electoral College and chucking that out too.
Now,
I'm up against news. I got to go. All right, thanks a lot. Tony, quickly on WPRO.
I voted for Gore, and I think that he should be elected president because no matter how many times it takes to revote, Clinton, Gore, Hillary Clinton, they made a lot of sacrifices.
But that's got nothing to do with what we're talking about, Tony. Can we talk about the election itself?
Continue.
Thank you. All right. John is in the car, WPRO. Hi, John.
Yeah, hi, Dave.
Yes.
I'm kind of amused at the cavalier attitude of a lot of people about, made a mistake, so...
Don't you love it? Don't you love it? I didn't do it. I didn't spill my coffee, so the hell with you.
Right. And the other thing is, too, is a lot of these people might not have even realized that they had done it wrong.
They didn't realize it until they got home, many of them.
Right. And obviously, if it's a couple of hundred votes or 50 here or 75 there, all right, you let it go. But there's 19,000 people, votes there, that are suspects.
In law, they call that contributory negligence.
Yeah, exactly.
When someone decides that they've set you up bad. Let me see if I can get my last call in, okay, John?
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Lisa's on the car at WPRO. Hi, Lisa.
Hi. I just wanted to say I had called an earlier program that everyone should just calm down. We have a president in the White House that is competent to handle everything until January.
Just chill,
and
right?
I think there's an underlying factor to all of this. People are using this rush to judgment as an excuse. I really think it's anti-Semitic. I think there's because the black vote was higher this year. They registered more blacks in that Palm Beach County. I think there's a lot of other factors. The pro-gun people.
All right, honey, I got to hold you there. I'm glad you called, and I think you make a good point that we should just chill a little bit.
America has survived assassinations, war, the Depression. We're strong.
Good for you, Lisa. God bless you.
Thank you.
All right, see you later. God bless America. She makes a good point. This is Veterans Day, by the way, and America is strong and stayed strong thanks to all of our veterans who have done all they could. I thank you. We have another hour together. I hope you'll get on the line. 437-0630, 1-800-321-9776, star 630 on your cellular one. Magic Wand is answering the phones. You and me on the radio until 4 o'clock this afternoon, so you stay tuned. We got another hour coming up, okay? All right.
Kane and Company is adult in nature and is not suitable for all audiences. The content of this program is one that a truly free society would not attempt to censure or suppress.
I'm gonna sit right down.
437-0630, 1-800-321-WPRO. Phones are hot, and an announcement. You and I will be together until 5 o'clock tonight. We're going to extend this another hour until 5 o'clock to give you a chance to get in on this.
They're gonna knock me off.
And Denise has been waiting patiently in the car. Denise, you're on WPRO.
Hi, I just had a comment that this was my first year voting. I'm 28 years old. And I was nervous going in. When I looked at the vote, that was a very important. I went and I asked the question.
Yeah.
So if it was that confusing, why didn't anybody ask the question?
Well, I mean, let's think about it a minute. Okay, let's think about that for a minute. How many times in your life have you not wanted to speak up about something, or feel like the dumb one, or feel like you're holding up the line?
Not me.
Well,
Wrong person.
yeah, I think I used to be married to you. Okay.
Yeah. No, seriously.
But there are people. Seriously, there are people who get very flustered in important times like this. Who you got people waiting to vote. And the other thing is, they may have thought, and this is the argument, and a good one. They may have thought that they did vote correctly until after it didn't occur to them. And they knew they had trouble with the ballots because the people in those areas put up signs, warning them.
So how many people estimated feel that they may have voted in?
Well, I don't know, but they have 19,000 ballots that they say are being challenged for that issue.
Are there 19,000 people questioning their ballots?
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm saying that there's 19,000.
Well, I would say that's important because
we'll find out.
People say, "Hey, I may have screwed up."
Well, but wait a minute. Yeah, but if you don't know, see, many of these people left and don't know it. In other words, like it's after you go, geez, did I press the one I think I pressed? Did I punch out what I think I did? You have
that happens, cause and effect.
But my point is,
America.
Well, excuse me, ma'am, that isn't America, because this is about voting. And if you know that the system was set up that it would set you up for a mistake like that, that's wrong. And in Florida, there is a law that says the major parties, Republican and Democrat, go first and second. On that ballot, the second button, the second hole was for Buchanan.
How many years have they known this?
This is new, ma'am. This particular setup of the ballot this way, in the sense with another candidate in the middle, is new.
Well, that's what they said. First 10 years ago, eggs were good. Now they're good, then they're bad. I mean, you just got to go with it. You can't.
Well, that's okay for you to say, but I'm not. This is a vote, and it's very important, and this is Veterans Day, and there are people who are. What?
You can't keep crying about.
Well, of course you can. If you think that somebody presented you a ballot that may make you make a mistake, and may make many other people make a mistake, no matter whose favor it's in, it's wrong.
You know what, though? You have to go through the whole state in the way that our country, the USA, is designed to zero zeros out. That's the way it's designed. So you have to challenge the whole Congress from top to bottom if you're going to challenge.
It's okay with me.
Vote.
It's okay with me. That's what this America is built on.
I teach kids, put a picture of Bush, a picture of Gore, and let their hand touch it. I mean, you're raised. You
Denise,
have to be 18 or over to
that's
vote.
Fine. That's perfectly fine.
You have to be 18 or over to vote. You have to have some common decency.
Denise, don't be smarmy, Denise. This is your first time you voted. Big deal. The first time you voted. You've never made a mistake, Denise.
That's not the issue.
Well, it is the issue, Denise. It is very much the issue. It is the issue. It is the issue. Well, you're sitting there smarmily saying to me that tough if they make a mistake, and tough if somebody else contributed to that mistake.
No, not me. I say I have compassion, but to a point that you have to stop and say, hey, that's America. There's certain ways designed to do it. Start from where it was designed.
Okay, fine.
Fix it from there.
Last word, Denise?
That's it.
Ron is in Bristol on WPRO. Hi, Ron.
Hi. I'd just like to give you some facts and figures. I just heard a lady talk about 19,000. In Palm Beach County, there are a total of 29,000 votes that were thrown out for either being under voted or overvoting, meaning that they either had two punches on the ballot, or they had no punches.
Right.
So now you're talking 29,000 people.
Yeah.
There was 3,400 votes, as we know, for Pat Buchanan. There was a statistical engineer from the University of Pittsburgh, looked at every county in Florida, and Palm Beach County was way off the map as far as the number of votes that Pat Buchanan got.
Even Pat Buchanan has said that.
Even he has said it.
Sure.
So let me give you another example. Mr. Radcliffe, who is the supervisor of all the election supervisors in Florida, said in the state of Florida, there were 96,000 ballots thrown out that were not counted, either because of that Chad, because of that little thing that they punch out, or for some other reason, because the computer didn't read it. So now we're talking 96,000 in the state of Florida. He said also that the machines that use the punch ballot and other alternative means, in other words, if they don't use the punch ballot machine, for every 1,000 votes that are voted on, 2 are thrown out. The people who use this punch ballot, for every 1,000 votes that are cast, 37 are thrown out. Okay.
All right, listen, you're starting to, you know, can I get you to your point? Because, the numbers are going to start confusing everybody.
They need to get a re-election.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Mark is in the car, WPRO. Hello, Mark.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good.
I'm an attorney here. I work for the government. I just flew into Rhode Island, getting ready for a class action statewide lawsuit against the Democratic Party that was in charge of running the Gore campaign. And a couple of issues I hear people calling in on, they have no idea of what is going on. Number one, throughout everybody's school years, state, local, whatever it may be, college, when you go back home after taking a test and think about how you answered the question and know you did not really understand the question, do you get to go back that next day and say to the teacher, can I retake the exam? Because I really didn't understand the question.
Are you an attorney?
Yes, I am.
Well, why don't you talk to me about, I mean, you started off by telling us you're an attorney, like we're supposed to be impressed with that. Have you got a legal point to make?
It has nothing to do with being impressed.
Then why do I care if you're an attorney?
Because I'm going to let you know what is going to happen here. Okay, the Gore campaign...
I thought you were an attorney. You're not a psychic.
Okay, the Gore... Oh, no, I'm telling you what's going to happen. The Gore campaign was in charge of bribery, passing out cigarettes to have people go in and vote for Vice President Gore. We have a videotape of this going on. Number two, we have a videotape of people being turned away from the polls in Florida because the first numbers that were given on TV said that Vice President Gore won the election, and when he did not. And the Democrats were turning people away from the voting booths and telling them there was no need to vote because Vice President Gore won, and in fact, he did not win yet. Okay, there are a lot of issues going on here.
Let me understand. Hold on a minute. Wait. Let me understand this. The Democrats were telling people to go home and don't vote because Gore already won.
When the first numbers
now,
were posted,
how does that damage anybody if the Democrats are telling people they already won?
Because some of those votes could have been for the Republican Party, and they were being turned away.
Well, as an attorney, you know that you're going to have to be able to establish who that is.
Okay, we have established on video. We have videotape from the news.
No, you're going to have to establish that those people were going to vote for Bush.
Okay, well, that's another thing that you have to take up in court. Okay, that's
well, I know, but you're making this charge on the air like you got some answers, and you got nothing but questions.
No, we don't have answers. We have facts.
You have no, you don't. You got questions. No, you got charges, counselor. Don't have facts. You got counselor. The law decides the facts. The court decides the facts.
Okay.
If you're an attorney, counselor, you know that you only have evidence.
Did you go to college?
I certainly did.
Okay.
What is your point, Colin?
Did you go back? Okay, this is the point.
Wait a minute, counselor. You haven't answered my question. You don't have facts until the court decides you have facts. You only have evidence. You only have charges. Isn't that true, counselor?
Okay, we only have facts until they are proven to be true.
You don't have any facts until they're proven to be true. You have only suggestions. You have only evidence, counselor. Hey, counselor.
There's a difference between facts and evidence.
Hey, counselor. They are not facts. They are not facts until they are proven to be facts in court of law. You only have a video of something that may have been going on. That's not a fact. That's a charge.
Okay, that is not a charge. That is visual fact.
It isn't a fact, counselor. I don't think you're an attorney. You're not. You're not.
Did you go to college?
You're not an attorney. No. I caught you.
No, you did not catch anything.
No, you're calling it a fact. You're a phony. Okay, give me a last word. Give me a last word. Give me a last word.
You are a phony.
Give me a last word. Give me a last word, counselor.
Okay, did you cry to the
Give me a counselor.
Did you cry to the teacher?
Give me a last word, counselor.
Okay, that is a last word. Did you cry to the teacher when you were in school?
Now, see, these people call up and they lie about who they are. They lie about who they are. And they make these outrageous charges, and they think I'm supposed to sit back and allow it to happen. That guy, the only time that guy's been in a courtroom is to defend himself against a vagrancy charge. Jerry's in Providence on WPRO.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is...
Shut your radio off, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to know,
Shut your radio off, please. Shut your radio off, please.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm an independent registered voter, and I did vote for our goal. But the point I want to make here is that I don't know how long we're going to wait to see who will be the next president of the United States. And, I'm very, very frustrated. This is my first time voting, and we come...
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. If I could do it quick for you and give you the guy that didn't really win, would that be all right?
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Oh, it's okay. You don't care, just as long as you know.
But the thing is...
Jerry, you're not answering my question. If I can give you the answer as to who's going to be president, but the guy that I give you, and I give it to you right now, but he didn't really win, you don't care about that.
Well, I'm an independent voter. I don't care who going to be president. I just exercise my right by voting for our goal.
But my point is, do you want...
If any guy be the president, I will accept that.
So
no problem.
But my point is, don't you want the person who really won to be the president?
I want the person the person that really want to become president of the United States. But now this is the point.
No, but you want the person to be who really wanted to be president, right?
Yes.
Why are you not willing to wait?
Why I'm not willing to wait? Because of so many information we are getting. That
No. Why are you not willing to wait to find out? It's got nothing to do with information. Who wrote a piece of paper to you that said it's got to be done by Thursday? Who wrote that to you?
Okay, why I'm not waiting to what I want to do is to know the person that will be the president of the United States. That will clear my doubt, and I will know the person, and I will be pleased with it.
Well, that's wonderful. Why aren't you willing to wait?
They be having election in this country. I think, sir, I've been here, election over election, after election, and we will know our next president. But this thing is going on too far, and we cannot continue waiting to know our next president.
Jerry, it's only been since Tuesday. Calm down.
Yeah, but
you're not ordering a pizza here.
Political party, they are creating problem for the independent people, and it's really bad.
Hey, Jerry, you're not ordering a pizza here. We don't guarantee delivery in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Come on, Jerry, get with the program. This is serious stuff, and if it takes longer, it's worth it.
Look, but I mean, it would turn also many all independent voters, and when in the time, they will lose some of us because I mean, we might even go for third party. Then it'll be really bad because the
No, I don't think it would be bad. I think it would be wonderful to have another party. All right, Jerry, give me a last word.
I mean, what I want to say here is that I just want for them the two main political parties to agree so that we can know our next president. We don't want to continue waiting until 2-3 months or 2-3 weeks before we know the next president of the United States.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Hi, Tim.
Well, I'd like to personally thank you and Dan for this hilarious show all day long. I mean,
Isn't this hysterical?
Junkie, it's just heaven.
Isn't this hysterical?
Absolutely. First off,
my God.
As someone in a kind of a unique perspective, as an elector, Ralph Nader has actually won I wouldn't cast my vote until December 18th up at the State House.
Yeah.
So all you folks, we're not going to change presidency till January 20th.
Yeah.
So you guys have got plenty of time. Just real quickly, I think the idea all across this country that, let me also say that I'd like to thank the people who did vote for Ralph Nader here in Rhode Island, Massachusetts. You do have new Green Party in Rhode Island, Massachusetts. We're official, and I'd just like to thank you for that. And for
well, Tim?
Yes?
Personally, I will tell you.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
You are welcome.
Well, thank you very much. And we're going to try our best not to let you down. Now,
Well, I hope not, because after I voted for Nader,
yes,
I said to myself, that damn Tim better not let me down.
Really? You're going to blame me personally for throwing the entire election.
All right.
But I think we really have to look at this entire kind of a standardization of these ballots all across the country. These are some of the same kinds of machines since 1880.
I know. Well, but where the trouble isn't. But I know what you mean.
And I think it's really interesting that we put so little value in these kinds of.
Well, we want to hurry up. We want fast food.
Absolutely.
Order that pizza. I don't care who wins. Just tell me.
All
right.
We also have just bizarre laws. Where like I've said before, where someone like running for Nader has to collect thousands and thousands of signatures, while Democrats and Republicans get on for free. So it's
all right. Gotta go.
See you later.
Bye. John is in the car. WPRO. Yes, sir.
Yes.
John.
If that guy was a lawyer, this is Pope John calling.
Wasn't that funny? These people. Every time somebody calls up and they start off by trying to say what they are and how qualified they are. They're blowing smoke.
Oh, man, did he give himself away?
Oh, my God.
I don't know of any lawyer that would talk like that. Listen, all I want to say is that punch card, right? People mocked it. Remember, that was punched on a machine. This is the problem. The machine did not punch out that tab. They left it hanging there.
Yeah.
That's what they want to find out.
That's one of the problems.
People have the wrong impression when they think it's like a punch board. You know what I mean? You punch it right out.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Machine.
All right, John. Thanks a lot. Frank is in Coventry in WPRO. Hi, Frank.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. My whole thing on this, I'm surprised that Read My Lips hasn't come up or surfaced. But I am a Democrat. Obviously, I did vote for Gore. But my whole concern is, first of all, the votes ended up in a guy's trunk. They ended up on a beach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right there's a technicality. After all this, whoever wins, as long as it's fair, fine. But the whole problem with this is that I don't know how to say it, but I just hope it's all fair and done.
That's what we need. We need a real honest answer, and that's all we're looking for here.
Yeah.
All right.
But for it to end up like these votes ended up in some guy's trunk and stuff like that, that's major. And don't let it fool you. If the Republicans were in the situation as the Democrats are in, they'd be looking for the same thing.
Well, and rightfully so. We should all be doing this. I don't think that's a problem. I think we should all be finding out what the real winner is, period.
That's right.
All right. Thanks a lot, Frank.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Richard's in the car at WPRO. Hi, Richard.
How you doing?
Yes.
I've been listening to this stuff, and you're right. The lawyer was no lawyer.
Oh, please. What a bunch of foolishness,
And what he was talking about, I believe, was people in the Panhandle.
Yeah.
Watch the news. Florida's Gore's. And they probably stayed home, and they shouldn't have done it.
We got it on videotape.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a good point there. That people did stay home, and that was dumb of them to do it.
Yeah, well, it was dumb of the networks, and that was really ridiculous.
But what I want to talk about was, I'm a mathematician.
Yeah.
I've been dealing with statistics, probabilities my whole life.
Richard, can you pull over because I'm starting to lose you?
Well, I'm parked.
Okay.
I just turned it.
Okay,
but
good.
One thing, and I'll say this about the recount. I've seen a lot of recounts, and as people that deal with probabilities, we kind of look at things like that, and that's kind of a fun little exercise. Let me say this. That was a little bit too... See, a recount, you get both people get the votes.
Yeah.
You get, and it's usually statistically 10% difference. And that's normal.
Yeah.
15, 20% is really way out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this one that went, 1,200 votes, the probability of that is in the trillions and trillions. It's not even on the chart.
Mm-hmm.
And go to Vegas and ask the people out there that know, and they'll tell you, no, there's no way. It's just statistically and looking at models and looking at every recount that ever has happened. This is not even there's not even on the chart.
Okay, so what we're saying is that we ought to get our act together here.
We need to get our act together. Now, one thing, yeah, that's right. And this whole thing, and like they want to do a manual recount now. They want to do it until they get the result they want. And unfortunately, and I saw today that the Republicans filed an injunction to stop it. And they rightfully, if I were them, I would have done the same thing. A manual recount is very inaccurate.
But here's the thing, you're saying that they want to do it until they get the answer they want. But let me
be doing that.
But wait a minute now. I mean, when you just finished saying, I mean, the fact that we originally it was 1,200 and suddenly it drops down to 300 is so outrageous.
No, 1,700 and dropped down.
Right.
1,800 went down to 300.
And after me, I'd say, wait a minute, there's something
wrong.
Absolutely. So to say that they only want they don't want of course they want the result they'd like, but what they really want is to go to bed at night and know, you know what, I really did lose the sucker.
Well, yeah. Now I'll say one thing. The guy with the punch card thing that the punch doesn't punch out. I'm sorry, it's not really right. It does punch it out. It may hang there, but it doesn't go back into the card.
Sometimes it does, though. They showed when you pull it out, the Chad goes back up sometimes.
Very, very.
Well, maybe. All right, but let's check it.
I don't think there's 1,200 times it did that in one.
No, I doubt it. All right, Rich, last word?
All I want to do is see it being done fairly.
All right.
All I care about.
Thanks a lot. Me too. All right.
Kane and Company. WPRO.
For the first time this afternoon, we have free lines. We have a couple of people waiting. We'll get right to you. But we do have some lines open at 437-0630, 1-800-321-9776, 1-800-321-WPRO, and star 630 on your cellular one. Before we go back to the phones, ABC News will have a report on the half hour. And so what I want to do is I want to take that report and see if we can get caught up. I see on the telly we have here in the studio that a hearing has been set for 9:30 on Monday morning on the Bush charge. And so we'll find out what the deal is on that. But in the meantime, I think what we'll do is we'll try to go to ABC News on the half hour. And we will, actually it's 3:30 radio time. And then we'll get all of the details that ABC has for a minute report. And then we'll go back to the phones. 437-0630, 1-800-321-9776, star 630 on your cellular one mobile phone. You and me on the radio till 5 o'clock now. We're going to extend this until the 5 o'clock hour. Now ABC News. Well, it's supposed to be ABC News.
It belongs to the Vietnamese Americans who have come to live among us.
Okay, now I'm not hearing anything. Okay, well, we're supposed to have a newscast at 3:30, but I don't hear it on the network, so I guess we're not going to do that. Instead, we'll go back to the phones, and Pat is in Pawtucket on WPRO. Hi, Pat.
Hi, good afternoon, Dave.
Yes, sir.
I don't know about this whole thing. I don't have a dog in this hunt, so I got to say that right up front. It doesn't make much difference to me which one of them wins.
Okay.
But I think with all the threats of litigation, we're all going to lose if that comes to fruition.
Okay.
I think that circumvents the system.
Mm-hmm.
And something else, I read a story on CNN the other day, on CNN.com, about how the Florida electors, if they don't have the election done and certified by the time December 18th rolls around, those people are just taken completely out of the picture. And if you subtract 13 votes from the 270 that's now needed to win, which would be 257, that's what people would need to win.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's some conjecture about the stalling tactics, and who if in fact it's stalled past that point, and the Florida electors are not in the picture, then somebody could win it that way. I would hate to see that happen too.
All right. Well, I thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Keep it.
I will. Chris is in Cranston. Hi, Chris. You're on WPRO.
Hi. How you doing?
Yes, sir.
Well, I just wanted to say, if that was me running for the presidency, and that's what happened to me, believe me, it doesn't make any difference if it's Democrat or I'm Republican. I will squeeze every single vote that I can.
Well, of course.
So I can win.
Of course.
And all those other people that's sitting back and saying, da-da-da, you should concede and stuff like that, let them run for a state office or for presidency, and let them see what they're going to do if they are in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's... and also, there are times when I took a college exam or high school exam, and there was questions which I did not understand.
Yeah.
I failed. I answered wrong. But, the next thing I would do is I'll prepare for next time. I'll make sure, I understand everything.
Also, if you know that the professor has a tendency to throw in trick questions, you're going to be hip to it, right?
Exactly.
Now we know that there may be a trick ballot, and we got to watch out.
Okay.
All right.
I'm wondering if this situation, it has nothing to do between Democrats and Republicans for what happened in the past year.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. I thank you for the call, Chris.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Dave is on the cell phone on WPRO. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Yeah, shut your radio off, please.
This is a different radio. Okay, there we go. I have a question for you. I've lost reality too. Why is it they won't let the 19,000 revote?
Well, there are some questions. Well, I don't. They haven't gone over them yet, but there is some question that at least 19,000 of these ballots allegedly are punched twice.
Okay, now here's my story, and let's see if we can work this out.
Yeah.
I voted in Rhode Island. Are you familiar with the Rhode Island setup?
Yeah.
Okay. I made all my marks, and everything was wonderful. I handed it to the attendant, and the machine started whooping and hollering, and she spit it back out, and it came out with a little printout that said, "You voted too many times."
Right.
And she took my ballot, invalidated it, and let me vote again.
Right.
Now, why can't they do that down there?
Well, I don't think it's obviously not set up to do that down there, and that's one of the problems. In other words, in other words, this Chad. Now, you know the Chads, the thing that they poke out.
Yep.
What they're saying is, and I can see where they'll poke it out, and then they put it under like a guide, and they snap it out. Okay. Then they pull it back to pull it out of the guide.
Right.
If the Chad hasn't been fully pushed through,
the light won't go through it.
Right. The Chad can be put back up in the hole again. Sure. Then when you deposit it into the machine, it takes it as a vote.
Yep.
Then they find out later that there's 2 out of there because in the meantime it's fallen out.
Okay.
You all right? Okay.
All right. Now my question to you is, in the sake of fairness, if I could re-vote because of voting too many times, why can't they?
That's the argument. The trouble is it didn't happen at that moment.
Oh, okay.
And so now I get home and I hear about all this other. Some people did find it wrong. You know what I mean? That's how they found it, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Somebody says, "Oh, geez, I did vote Ken. I better do Gore." Right. And then all of a sudden, bang! Surprise! Right.
Sure.
And that's how this hit the fan.
Well, I agree 100% with you, Dave. Let's get it where it's fair. Let's make sure everybody is counted for, and let's do it right.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dave.
Thank you.
Roy is in Bristol. Hi, Roy.
Hi.
Yes, sir.
Who's it, Dave?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm a TV junkie, and I watch C-SPAN and MSNBC and all that stuff. I have a few observations. One is this lady who's on the election commission in Florida for 16 years.
Yeah.
She said that the butterfly ballot had been thrown out years ago because it was confusing.
Mm-hmm.
So that...
and then you have other people say that they've used it before, too. So, I mean, this is the problem. You know what?
The other thing is that's the only one that's got electronic punch. The rest of the state used a cross and pencil.
Yeah. You know, Roy, this is the problem. Whether or not she's correct, whether or not other people are correct, lies the problem. There's a confusion. There's and so now we got to get our act together.
Yeah, but don't you think it's interesting? Only that section was the heavily Democratic that they threw the electronic.
Well, you can go there, but I think it's a waste of our time. I don't care what the motive is. The bottom line is there's a screw up.
Scenario.
Well, quickly.
Suppose I had access to that 20,000 cards for a few minutes. I can stuff them into an automatic high-speed punching machine.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not into conspiracies. The point is this.
I can knock out 19,000.
Yeah, I know. The point is, Roy.
It's plausible as saying that 19,000 people don't know what they're doing.
I know, but Roy, it's immaterial to me what the motive is or how it was done. The point is to fix it. fix
well,
it.
of course it's got to be fixed. But
Okay.
the point is that it doesn't make sense. The 19, those are all people who are musicians. And
Oh no! They're all old people, Roy.
Yeah, but
they're all old people.
They're also intelligent people.
Okay. Thank you,
And-
sir.
Huh?
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it. David's in the car at WPRO. Hi, David.
Hey, Dave.
Yep.
Dave, is it just me, or doesn't anyone see the irony that the father of the Internet and technology is resorting to a manual count?
Oh, that.
It seems hideous.
Yes.
That was it, just a point.
Oh, okay. You waited all for that line, huh? Okay.
Oh, it was worth the time.
Okay, bye. No life. Lewis is in Johnston. Hi, Lewis.
Yes, how are you then?
Hey.
I'm a bit confused because over here in Johnson, when I voted, you're supposed to cross the arrows, right?
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So automatically this machine didn't punch the vote. So the attendant told me I did something wrong.
Right.
I can't understand how the machines are over there. If one person went over there and voted and then punched one hole and then punched again, I don't understand what these attendants were. Well, I mean, you should have alarmed them or told them something.
Well, that's exactly what it did, and now that's how they found out there was a problem.
Why didn't the attendants tell the people you voted wrong?
Well, I don't know if they did or they didn't. It's the people that didn't find that out until after that they're talking about.
Well, how could it be? I mean, if they voted twice with that machine...
Well, because I just explained this, Lewis. This little piece of paper sometimes went back up into the hole, so it wouldn't show that they voted twice.
Well, then they're right. There is a defect with the machine. They should recount all them votes.
Okay, thanks a lot.
They should get all them votes when they have the problem with some two punch holes
Yeah.
and recount them.
Okay, thanks a lot, Lois. I appreciate it. David is in East Providence. Hi, David.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Good.
Good. Dave, I teach religious education, 8th graders.
Okay.
And if I give them a test, and I get all the tests back, and all of the kids got
Number
one
4
particular
wrong.
question wrong.
Right.
I would assume that I did something wrong. I didn't get it across. I'd give them credit for it.
And it's the same. And if it's the same stupid answer.
Yeah.
You're right. Or you realize they misunderstood the question.
Is, they just didn't get it right. But if 3 out of 10 get it right, then I mark the others wrong because 3 of them knew the answer.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I must have gotten the information across.
Yeah.
Now, all these people down in Florida, they were informed. They probably had it in the newspaper what the ballot looked like.
But here's the question, though. Here's the question. Before you, I know where you're going with this. Here's the question. As an educator, as someone who is dedicated to his profession, if you find out that 3 of your kids were lucky enough, maybe have guessed, maybe have just, answered by, just understood it, 7 out of 10 of your kids didn't get it right.
Right.
Wouldn't you say to yourself, maybe I better reword that question next time?
Could be. My questions are very simple.
But my point, my point is, when you got 7 out of 10 who had a problem with it, you got to say, well, okay, maybe it's them, maybe it's me. Let me look at it, and let me see if I can rephrase it. The same is with this. Maybe it's them, maybe it's us, but obviously there is a problem, and I've got to do something in my position as the teacher, or my position as the electorate.
So what you're implying is that next time around they don't use this form.
Exactly.
I couldn't disagree with that.
Right.
But I think people are responsible to pay attention.
One time I got caught cheating.
Oh.
In a test. And I mean, this reminds me because it was really interesting because the teacher said she knew how I was the one that cheated. And I said, why? She said, because the guy next to you had all of the same answers. I said, so what? He said, yeah, but on number 4 he wrote, I don't know. And on number 4 you wrote, I don't know either. So I got caught.
I'll look for that. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. All righty, where are we? David is in Cranston. Another Dave. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave. How you doing?
Good.
Thanks for taking the call.
Thanks for making it.
Basically, Dave, I just wanted to make the point that I think we're in dangerous ground here, and to be honest with you, I'm a Republican. I voted for Bush, but at this stage, I just think we should put it to rest, and by rest I mean either let the recount stand, and subject to recount of, acceptance of the absentees, or frankly, basically let Gore take the action that he's taking, and let Bush be the better man, and just let it play out the way that it's going to happen. But either way, I think it should come to a swift conclusion, because...
Well, if you're concerned about that, aren't you concerned that Mr. Bush has brought suit?
Well, I think that that there's more at stake here than the next president. I think the integrity of the presidential election process.
Well, I agree, and so therefore, Mr. Gore is correct to make sure that we have real integrity. And let me ask you this: Mr. Bush, suing to stop the hand count. What motive do you think he has?
Well, I think that...
you don't think he thinks he's going to win, do you?
Well, no, actually, I think that at this point, right now, the Republicans believe that if they don't do this, there will be no recourse but to create a spiral.
That's a charming concept, but the reality is they're afraid they're going to lose it.
Well,
come on, Dave, come on.
I agree with you.
All right, let's just put it on.
You both have their personal interests,
right? And let's put it on the table and just say, look, I don't give a damn who wins at this point. I personally don't, okay? Because for me, it's Tweedledum and Tweedledummer. But my point is that I want to know whoever won. I want to be able to say, as an American citizen, that was the guy we elected. Right there, that guy, that's him.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
That is going to be subjective if we send this to the human.
Not at all. As a matter of fact, far less subjective, because you're going to have representatives from all sides and other observers, interested observers, and it's going to be far more. And all of the people that have done this for years have already stated on several interviews that this is the one way you're going to get as close to an honest count as possible, because this is not going to be done in a closet someplace. This is going to be done out in front of God and everybody. Okay, and so that's why I want to know. I want to know that if George Bush gets in, that he got in because he got the votes, period.
I just think that it opens up a gray area where you've got a half push or two pushes. Ultimately, somebody's going to make a decision on which way to go there. And which way it goes, personally, I think that whoever gains office here, the American people are going to be are going to stand behind that person. But I think that this process, if it drags on for weeks, is going to erode the people's faith in one of the longest practice.
I disagree. I totally disagree with that. I think that if it goes on for weeks, that we're going to instill our faith, because we're going to show that we're not going to take a short shift on this one. We're not going to allow questions that may or may not be motivated by mischief, to quote Mr. Baker, or may just be human error, or may just be whoever. I think the one thing that we're going to show is that our country is not going to allow a little shell game with votes.
In an ideal society, I would agree with you.
Can only be ideal if you're willing to work for it and not say you want it tomorrow.
But what if I agree that if both parties acted in the best interest of the nation over the next several weeks, that the election process would be better for it. But as we saw with this administration...
No, stop there. No, this has got nothing to do about this administration. Now, you're making yourself look silly. We're talking about this issue right now. I want to know who the president is for real. If it's your guy, that's fine. If it's Gore, that's fine. My point is, I don't want this shell game going on from anybody's side. Never mind this administration. This administration is over January 20. Talk about this election right now.
Okay.
All right, I got to hold you there, Dave. Got a last word? Dave?
I did not commit sexual relations.
God bless you. You must be terribly lonely. Grant is in the car in WPRO. Hi, Grant.
Hey, Dave, how are you?
Good.
Listen, I've been listening all afternoon, and I understand your point, but you know what's going to happen? I agree with Mr. Baker with regards to this injunction, because when the votes come out, if they do this hand count, which they'll probably end up doing, Bush will win it. And now what will happen is when he does win, what's going to happen is that's not going to satisfy Mr. Gore and his operatives. What's going to happen is he's going to continue on until they get the outcome they want, regardless of what he's saying.
Well, he won't be able to do that because...
That's exactly what
he won't be able to do that, Grant, because
They will.
all right. So you know what, Grant. Then just throw in the towel and let him have it now.
That's
then
not my point. Don't go.
Throw in the towel. Let him have it now.
No, that's not the point. The point is he's not going to be satisfied until.
So what?
Right now, I don't.
So what? Who cares if he's satisfied? You care? Do you care if he's satisfied?
Not really. But
all right. How about you being satisfied? How about me being satisfied? I'm not convinced right now that anybody's the president or has won it cleanly.
You're absolutely right.
And so I want to know. And if it's your guy, terrific. If it's Gore, terrific. Fine. But I want it to.
What's going to happen is this recount's going to happen. Okay. And Bush will win. Okay. Just say hypothetically this is going to happen. He wins. He wins this recount. He wins the state of Florida. Okay, now what's going to happen next? You know what's going to happen? They're going to initiate these. They're going to continue with these lawsuits, and it's going to turn this process, which is supposedly the
all of that is charming. All of that, but the only reason you're screaming this is because you're afraid your guy's going to lose.
That's not it. That's
of
not
course
it.
it is.
You can spin it like that. That's not true at all.
If you thought he was going to win, honey, it would be there.
That's not it. That's not it. You can spin it like that, but the point is,
I'm not spinning it. The only reason Bush. The only reason Bush is doing this is because he wants to win, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
That's right, but they can't continue on like this. I mean, where else do they go from?
Well, you tell me something. Wait a minute. You tell me something.
Yeah.
You pick a number. How many days should we invest to find out who is the real president? You tell me. Pick a number.
There's no need to, because what happens is on the next week, the 17th, when all the absentees are counted, okay, and
there you go,
and recount. That's it. It should be over. But I guarantee you, mark my words.
These men, how about the rights of people to have a fair count? How about the rights?
Right. I'm one of those person who wants that fair count. And I think. There are irregularities. This has been borne out over years of elections.
So let's get our act together and clean up and stop trying to protect your guy. Let's talk about the issue.
I'm not trying to protect my guy.
Well,
I'm trying to be
I disagree.
Fair.
No, you're not fair. No, you're writing scripts. You're writing scripts about what'll happen tomorrow and what'll happen.
You're spinning it all afternoon.
I'm spinning? How am I spinning?
You are spinning.
You show me one thing I spun. Show me one.
You've been spinning all afternoon.
Show me one, Grant.
Bush, you say you don't agree with this
injunction. Put up a shut up,
why?
Grant. Show me why.
Why don't you? You say you don't agree with this injunction. Why?
I didn't say I don't agree with it.
You said it was nonsensical for them to do that.
I didn't. I never said that. That's not true. You made that up. I'm sorry. I never said that.
You don't agree with
what I said was that the only reason they brought it is because they were afraid they might lose.
That's your spin. They're not afraid. They're just tired of this. This will go on until Al Gore gets the outcome that he wants.
And that's your spin, Grant. And that's your spin, Grant. That's your spin.
And it's a beautiful spin.
Charming. All right. Richard's in the car. Hi, Richard.
Hi.
Quickly.
Hey, listen.
Yeah.
I read in the Journal when they had that ballot the day after the election, it said the instruction says punch to the right of the candidate's name.
Yeah.
Now, if Buchanan was to the right of the first list, how could you punch Buchanan's name? His
Yeah, I read that too, but then I heard that was, I haven't read it, but then I heard that was not on the ballot.
Okay.
I had heard that too, but then I heard that was an incorrect report.
Yeah, that's what was in the Journal, and I said, then the ballot should be invalid.
Right. Well, that's true, except that I think it's going to be invalid in a couple of other reasons too, because Florida law says that the major parties should be first and second, and I think on that they may challenge that ballot as well.
Now, the thing, I don't understand why everybody's in such a hurry.
I don't either. I don't know what this, I got to know right now. I don't care who it is. I got to know. What is this, Christmas? What is this, Christmas? I got to know what I got? Oh.
The presidency ain't over, the present administration, until the 20th of January.
I know.
A lot of time.
Yeah, what are you worried about? Chill out. All right, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Lori's in Warwick. Hi, Lori.
Hi. I just want to say I'm really tired of listening to all these people say that Al Gore is down there doing a manual count simply because he wants to achieve a certain result. That's not really true. What he's trying to determine is, did he get those votes or not? And I think that's fair. I think he has the right to look at every ballot and say, was this a legitimate vote? That's not wrong. When I go to the bank and I cash a check, I watch the cashier count my money out. I check it again. That's not wrong. That's what you should do.
Well, I think it's what you should do. I mean, it seems to me like that's what you should do.
And I mean, if I have to wait while they count it 15 times, I'll wait. I think I would sleep better at night knowing that the right person won that office fair and square.
I mean, that's what I want. I don't give a hell who it is. But that's what I want. Okay.
That's all I really have to say. I'm just frustrated with these people that are like putting them down.
Oh, they're all nuts.
If it was the other way around, I think that they should do it for Bush. I mean, I think fair is fair for everyone.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Lori.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And that's Lori's spin on it. Here, Jack.
Hey, how you doing today?
Yes, sir.
Listen, the only thing I got to say here is I did vote for Bush, but the bottom line is you have to follow the rule of law. And from what I understand, that ballot was approved by the Democrats and Republicans. It was also sent out in the paper for all to read, and I understand the Democrats even sent out a postcard for all the registered voters saying, punch hole number 5 for Gore. Now, should we award illiteracy? Is that what we're supposed to do here?
Well, first of all, if you want to go by law, they have broken the law. They may have agreed that the ballot was okay, but they broke Florida law.
It was approved by the voter
and they
voting
broke.
board.
Excuse me, that may be, but they broke Florida law.
Well, we don't know that.
I'm telling you, they did.
No, are you a judge?
I'm telling you that they broke the law as the law is written.
Are you a judge?
As the law is written, it says that the two major parties have to be first and second on the ballot.
Are you a judge?
Okay, listen, I'm not going to play this silliness with you. No, it isn't, because the law is the law. The law is the law, sir.
Who's going to resolve it?
The law is the law, sir.
Well, who resolves the law?
I'm telling you that the law is the law. It does not a matter of interpretation. That's what it says. I'm telling you what the law says.
Is saying yes, you violated the law, or no, you didn't.
I'm telling you by the description. By the description, based in the law.
Did you pull the law up and look at it?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah, absolutely I did. What do you think? What do you think? I fell off the terminal truck here?
And you saw all the case histories behind that law.
That's not what I said. I said I pulled the law up and looked at it.
There are case histories that enforce that law.
Good. You happy now?
No, I'm just trying to...
I didn't think so.
You're not a judge.
I didn't think so. Neither are you, sir. Neither are you. Neither are you. So therefore, your premise that...
follow the law as it is written.
Well, I just gave you the law as it's written.
And that's where we're getting... No, I'm talking about the recount
I just gave you the law that it's written.
The recount law. That's all I'm saying.
I'm giving you the law. Oh, you're only going to follow certain laws.
No.
Oh, okay. I just want to say you're only going to follow certain laws.
That
Okay.
issue's already before the court.
I just want to be clear. Certain laws. All right.
That issue's already before the court and will be decided by a judge.
All right. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Charming. Oh my God. Paul is in the car. Hi, Paul.
I'd like to make a comment that's in the middle of all this. However ugly this is or will get, I've never seen anything develop in my 70 years that is bringing more people into the system, more aware of the system,
more knowledge,
interested in the system,
more educated.
Oh, they couldn't have done this with millions of dollars of PR work.
Absolutely.
They have brought in youth, people that didn't bother voting, and it's polarized the country into the electoral process.
Absolutely.
I think it's done no matter. And now, the most important thing, when I hear people say we've counted enough, as you tried to point out before, you count until you get it as right as can be, period, whatever that takes.
I agree. Thank you, Paul.
Okay.
All right. Tom is in East Providence. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Good.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Absolutely count as many times as you have to get the correct count. How can you defend the argument that every vote counts if you're not doing that?
I don't understand this thing that we got to have it today. I don't understand it.
We don't have to have it today, and we just got to get it right, and they should count those ballots, and not making those people vote again is a shame also, because those people, whether or not they were wrong or right, their vote has to count.
Yes.
And their voice is not being heard, and it's just one of those situations where it turns off the vote at the next time around too. It's an argument you can have. Maybe it is or maybe it's not, but it's another point that your vote doesn't count. So I think their vote should definitely be counted for out there.
I agree.
And another thing, I think George Bush should calm down about picking his cabinet, and he should just sit down and relax and worry about what's going on in Florida, not worry what's going on in the White House.
Well, you do have to be ready, though. You do have to be ready, because if he pulls it out, he needs to have this stuff done. I don't think that's a problem. I think he should be doing it, because I think he needs to be prepared, because nobody knows how it's going to run.
So Al Gore's getting prepared also, but he's not having news conferences.
Well, he doesn't have to do as much changing as Gore does. I mean, as Bush does. All right, got to go. Thanks a lot. John is in the car. Hi, John.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
That's good. I just had a couple of comments on the approach that's been taken by a lot of I want to say the Republicans, I guess, before the election and then after the election.
Yeah.
Before the election, I was, talking frequently with people at work who kept going on and on about the electoral system and how it wasn't fair. Whoever won the popular vote should win. And in fact, on election night, we had several Republican pundits on TV going on and on because it looked like Al Gore was going to win the electoral vote, but he was going to lose the popular vote.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And they're going on and on about how unfair this is. And, the election should go to Bush. Now it's reversed. Gore clearly has won the popular vote, and now this whole election is hinging on 25 electoral votes in Florida. And these same people are screaming that that this is the rule of law. And I don't know. I just have a lot of problems with a lot of what these people are saying.
Well, I would agree. We're going to have to wait and see what all this falls out. But it's very partisan.
Another thing too is a lot of people have questioned the fact that the studios, the networks, all called this election. They called Florida for Al Gore. They called it. It took a while, but they called it for Gore. I think they made the correct choice because if you take 20,000 votes in Palm Beach, I mean, they're basing this on exit polling.
Yeah, but it's wrong for them. I got to hold you, but it's wrong for them to do that. It just throws a monkey wrench into the works. It's immaterial. Got a last word for me?
Yeah. No, I guess that's about it.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Appreciate it. Leslie, my dear, I got about a minute.
Okay. As I told you a couple of weeks ago, I voted for Nader. You know what bothered me? I was at Majestic Motors on Thursday, and they had the Today Show on in the waiting room, and some political pundit, some historian, was talking with Katie Couric about how Nader screwed it for Gore, and she asked him, well, has Nader apologized to the Democratic Party? And he said, no, he hasn't. And I thought, what the hell is going on? He had as much of a right to run for president as anybody else did. What is he going to apologize to?
Okay.
And for what? That's absolutely nonsense.
And that's what you called about.
And also because I think that as some of the other people have been saying, if Bush were in the same position Gore's in right now, they'd be doing the same thing.
All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Talk Radio 630 WPRO.
News time.
Providence.
No,
Yeah.
Don't forget.
Okay.
All right, thanks a lot. 4370630. Don's in North Providence. Hi, Don.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make 2 points. First of all, I think it's interesting how Bush whined when the networks initially gave the state to Gore, and now that Gore is fighting, Bush is whining again.
Well, I got to be honest with you, though. I really feel that he had a good point. I don't think that the network should be giving the states to anybody.
Okay, well, could I make that was my second comment.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the whole question of exit polls. Should they be used? However, if we're going to use exit polls, I think Florida was a valid exit poll because they're not looking at the votes, they're looking at the people as they come out of the booth. And there's probably 20,000 people or more in Florida who came out of the booth and said they voted for Gore, and their votes aren't being counted.
Mm-hmm.
So by the exit polling data, Gore won Florida handily.
Yeah.
But the problem was with the ballot.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see if that's the case. I don't think you're far off, but we're going to find out, huh?
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Thank you for the call.
Okay, thank you.
Amy's in New Hampshire. How's by you?
You know the best comment I heard about this whole Megillah?
Yeah.
It really depends whose ox is being bushed.
It really depends whose ox is being bushed. Excellent.
Isn't that great?
I love it.
You know, as of yesterday, Florida had mailed out 13,000 absentee ballots.
Yeah.
Less than half of them were back, and less than half of those had been counted.
Yeah.
Now, do you mean to tell me with a margin of 327 real-time votes, this isn't going to make a difference?
It's got
They
to.
didn't make mistakes voting on the absentee ballot.
I know it. It's got to. And you know what? I was surprised at how many Israeli citizens are absentee voting.
I don't know.
They're saying that it might be very heavy.
Good heavens.
I couldn't imagine how many there could be, living in a kibbutz in the winter. How many could be doing
glass tea?
Yeah, with that glass. By the way, a guy called me earlier. I think I took most of it off a guy called me a Jew troublemaker.
Wow, talk about being redundant.
I know. Called me a Jew troublemaker. Can you imagine such a thing?
Yeah, well, actually, your last caller makes a very good point. When you've got exit polls,
yes,
there is no way that people are going to tell the truth when they're counting on drawing the curtains behind them for a private vote.
Yes.
I mean, why tell the truth?
Yeah. Except that if they lie, now there's the other question, is if they lie, that means, that's like the guys, that puzzle where you say one person's going to tell you the truth all the time and one person's going to tell you a lie?
The truthful Whitefoot and the lying Blackfoot.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so now the guy comes out and he says, and the exit polls are, Gore. Just to get the guy who's excited.
Well, this whole thing is pretty silly, because if it were true that there were enough ballots that were mistakenly votes for Buchanan,
yes,
Buchanan would have had a major blip on the Florida vote screen.
Yes.
Yeah, and he doesn't.
No, and even he said
0%.
And he said, he said right out, he said the Hebes are never going to vote for me.
Yes, and I'm sure that a lot of the people that voted for me meant to vote for Al Gore. The schmuck picks that night to be a person?
Are you kidding me? Come on, he's got to hate Bush more than he hates Gore. That's what the deal is. He knows which side his bread is buttered on. Right?
His butt is breaded on.
Oh, but thank you very much. Thanks for stopping by the other day.
Hey, how long were you on today? I just tuned in at 4.
No, I meant thanks for stopping by when you were down here.
Couldn't. You didn't loiter at the Civic Center?
I understand. All right. Well, we're off at just about 5 minutes. I've been on since 1 o'clock.
Then. All right, Jeff.
I thank you for your call.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Let me see if I can squeeze Bernie in here. Hi, Bernie.
Hi, I just wanted to make a comment about the exit polling. Everyone's making kind of a big deal of the networks giving the Florida to Gore, but the Republicans, I didn't hear them complaining when the exit polls were giving, Illinois and not Illinois, that wasn't a state he won, but a lot of other states to Bush before the polls
but here's the problem. In those other states, they weren't in different time zones. Is one of the problems. The Panhandle of Florida is in a different time zone than the East. Okay, so there was another hour to vote, at least another hour. Maybe 2. And so their point was, and I don't think it's real, but I mean the point was that, you may have discouraged somebody from going in. And if you were only going in to vote for president, that might be a good fight. But when there are other things like bond issues and local offices also to be voted on, I don't think that holds.
Well, couldn't the opposite also be true if they're already saying, I think this guy's got it locked up? Wouldn't more people who want the other side to win run out and say, we better get in there quick?
That could be an argument, except that the people who didn't already vote probably don't care anyway. You know what I'm saying? People who are really fanatical about it or into it, they've already been there.
Right.
So I don't know if that makes any difference at all. But I still don't think the networks ought to be doing it.
Well,
I think it's dangerous.
It seems a little premature, but if you're going to complain about them doing it for Florida, I think everyone should complain about them doing it just in general.
Oh, well, they are. And there's going to be a big, believe me, there's going to be a big to-do about that, because I think it's wrong, too. And I'm in the media, whatever that means.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Bernie. Bye-bye. All right, we're going to have time to do tatas. I can't believe it. We got through all of our calls. I thank you very much. I invite you to get on the line for tatas at 437-0630, 1-800-321-9776, star 630 on your cellular one mobile phone. If you don't know what tatas are, you listen, you'll find out. Don't forget, tomorrow morning we're going to be on the air again at 10 o'clock. We can continue all of this. And I want to thank Magic Juan for doing his job today. He's done a wonderful job, as per usual. And you and I will be again together tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. And we can talk more about this. I'm sure there'll be more to talk about. And, boy, this has been one hot show. I thank Ron for inviting me to come in and do this. And I thank you for participating. Now participate in your tatas. That's the least you can do, all right?
Hello, I must be going. I cannot stay. I came to say I must be going. I'm glad I came, but just the same, I must be going.
For my sake, you must stay. For if you go away, you'll spoil this party I am brewing.
I'll stay a week or 2. I'll stay the summer through. but I am telling you, I must be going.
Okay, boys and girls, mom and dad, children of all ages, let's do this right now. Hello.
Why are you talking about the election? You should be talking about something that's really important, like Britney Spears.
Hello.
There's going to be a new world order.
Uh-oh. Well, good. Make mine a double. Hello.
Funny program today, but enjoyable.
Okay. Hello.
You suck.
God bless you. Hello.
Time out. This is Mike Cole. You're an idiot.
Hello.
Dave, I'm totally disgruntled.
Again? Ooh, I hate this. Hello.
I'm Bob Dole, and Bob Dole knows one thing, and that's politics. No, Monica, I'm on the phone. Nobody talks to Bob Dole. Bob Dole.
Hello.
It's hard to know where to stick your little pin.
Oh, baby. Hello.
Don't ever accept a drink from a urinologist.
It's urologist, but thanks very much. Hello.
Night.
Good night. Good night. And good night to you, too. And in the end now, don't forget, the love that you take from this world is equal to the love you make in the world. Thanks very much for being with me. See you again tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. Be the good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. My thanks to Major Juan. And most of all, thanks to you. You've made it a great show. And as usual, without you, this would be so boring. It would be almost as boring as Dan talking to you, but not quite, I don't think. Okay.
Radio 630.